have the resources just yet. I'm pretty sure he wants that malefic gun, but still looking for that gold.
Onyx ID, fortunate to have used their holy shields to maximum efficiency. We just hit the 12-minute mark, folks, and that is when the holy shields get popped naturally. So that means by keeping all their inhibitors, they're able to somehow plan for a post-late game comeback. But the question still stands, Rafael, you posted it about 5 minutes ago. What are they waiting for?
Because we're looking at the itemization here, looking at the balance here. Now, oh, hold on, looks like they want to engage on the Onyx ID.
And they do find a lot. Suns put down the fifth of his health force to use the primal wrath here. And you'll see defensively used. T-Boy gets taken down amongst the weight of the whole super fam. A free pickoff. And now Onyx ID are forced to defend. Oh, look at this. The blazing duet used to engage, forcing Suns back. Ludwig looking for a taunt. The Unbreakable not going to find the gold standard. King Kong putting up a wall between him and the push. Finally down goes the inhibitor. Not enough damage coming from Severo. Onyx PH back off happy with the siege.
Onyx PH has just been punching the front lines. Whoever they catch, Rupee, Keyboy, they're going to take them down. Suns, if they're lucky. So they're now having the malefic gun. He has 4 items. There is potential for them to do something here. But again, the front lines are not able to set anything up. Oh, the Lord's quarter health here. Looks like they're going to reset it.
Onyx Philippines respecting the Indonesians' attempt. They know that through Sans and Luthi alone, suddenly things could go sideways based on what Sans has stolen. But again, he can't even get in range. And that's a free Lord for Onyx PH. They're going to roll up into the side lanes and simulate an endgame push, because this could be it, Lafel.
Yeah, obviously looking at the items coming in from Sans, I think this Valentina is going more for damage. Having the Lightning Truncheon as well as the Blowing Stab, and having the Arcane Boost for more penetration, you can assume that there's going to be more damage. But the fact that it's complete, everyone has magic resist at this point.
Here we are, Lord, marching up to mid. Kyrie cutting that top lane. Yeah, blazing the wet by Kelra. Starting it up because Onyx ID are looking for the smoke. Kyrie looking for Kelra. Does find him. So does the SOD, but there's a lot of chunky bodies keeping the gold standard guard. And they're going to at least protect that bottom lane and top lane. Onyx ID doing pretty well for the situation. The pause.
Only Philippines player dominated and as Indonesia like King Kong man.
At least say it did happen during the engagement. Yeah. It happened pre-engagement, and I'm pretty sure.
As the final race, you know the third place को like खेल रहा है.
So whatever's ailing our in-game situation, I'm pretty sure this is something that is reparable.
I like the song. Bro, what about the smoking? What happened, right? But anyways, we can see here, I like that this narrative, Onyx versus Onyx, third place match, they're giving it their all. Onyx Philippines, if they can stop Onyx ID, they'll do that, right? So I kind of feel like Onyx ID, they also got to rethink what's going to happen in the number 2, because this is a very risky trap for themselves, and it just didn't work out.
But LaFell, imagine the plot twist if somehow Onyx PH don't win this. What if some way somehow ID are able to pull something out? I don't even know what it is. I don't even know where to start to try and weave that tale, but what if they do?
Talk about Dr. Sulaiman Al-Habib hot take. Now that's a pretty big hot take. If Onyx ID could do it, damn. How? Yeah, now we're resuming back into the game here. Looks like still a successful defense coming in from Onyx ID. The waves are still far away, so Onyx Philippines, you have to set still 2,000 gold. That's a big hurdle for Onyx ID. It does come
Fully dominates at 12-1 छ. 1 kill पनि लुटपिले हाने रहेछ कटुकसले Onyx ID बाट.
An investment into the top lane push, especially given Lord will be spawning in the lower quarter in a minute and a half. I just checked the items and the gold gain. Here we go, one more look. You see what I'm seeing? Look out, 5,000 gold between Kurt and Ludwig.
Oh my goodness.
That's a carry. You didn't have ever seen one. Yeah.
Keyboy.
Well, no wonder he could do a lot.
Keyboy Brusco.
And up front. And this is a problem. Keyboy, listen, who is he going to get? Right, Bob, we kick Elra. But hey, in a few seconds, he's going to have that purified.
Super Prince is the best target. He's done it once this game. Now the siege continues.
Hey, first game है यो शायद 3 गेम हुन्छ बेस्ट अफ 5 होला शायद.
That winner crown. BJ Brusco Pado gets taken. Now the trade though. Oh my lord,
अनि 2 किल खायो त
We're saying, what if someone somehow Onyx are able to dig deep and I'm talking about Onyx ID?
What we were saying, what you were saying, if you called it and it does happen, Calciferous. Or we're just good at our jobs. But either ways, like I said, it's not over yet. 16 minutes in about what, 3 minutes to go batter anymore. At that point, everyone has their core items. Onyx ID looking at the mid lane here, trying to secure this mid turret. Kyrie goes in. Can he get something? Gets stunned up. He gets stunned up again.
That's a half-second arrow. Super Prince thrown out just to stop Kyrie from getting the counter. And you see this, a single moment of weakness, a vulnerability, wherein they lack 2 of their key members. Onyx PH suddenly lose the whole mid lane.
Sans र सुपर फ्रेन्ड्स मिडमा
I'm surprised.
काइरी र किङकङ
I'm also surprised he has no deaths. Super Severo is having an amazing Moscow team. If Onyx ID came back, hey, Severo's thoughts.
किल्लरले लर्डले हान्दैछ है
That's exactly what Onyx PH failed to do in the early bit. They did not apply any pressure.
कि बोय काइरी त्यही घाँसमा लुकिरहेछ अरे काइरीले चोरिदिन्छ क्या हो किल नै हान्दैछ है लर्डको लर्ड किङकङले खायो है ओनिक फिलिपिन्सले खायो किङकङले घटोकसलाई नै हान्दियो एजिक्सले भ्यालेन्टिनालाई ओनिक फिलिपिन्सले ला मस्कोले खाइदियो है चाउलाई नाइस नाइस अनि इन्डोनेसिया 3 जना गयो फिलिपिन्सको 1 जना काइरीको त घेरेको आम्बो त्यो किङको खेताबाट लल भाग्छ क्या हो भाग्यो भाग्यो डेन्जर किङकङको मिस्टेक भयो नि ल लड आयो यहीँ सिद्धिन्छ जस्तो गेम रोज गोल कसले बनाएको भर्खर काइरीले लिएको रहेछ रोज गोल खायो खायो लड त मिठो हान्दियो है त्यहीँ भित्तामा टसरी सिधाइदियो लडलाई
Oh no, unable to quell Onyx PH. A successful grab that purple for King Kong.
King Kong le khai de blue.
4 to 5 months ago, this Fanny would have been a big problem.
Ani कलवाले बोकेर लग्यो है किङ कङलाई किङ कङ जान्छ क्या जान्छ 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 यस नाइस नाइस फटोफट ओए अल्टी हान्न पाएन लुपी बच्यो बच्यो ओए भ्यालेन्टिनाले नाइस नाइस गर्दैछ यो उनीको इन्डोनेसियाले नि
What did you saw, Leo? That you predicted this? I thought the game would have been over 5 to 6 minutes ago.
I saw the clouds part and I saw the sky.
यहाँ मेरो यार कल्याले यार किङ कङले बोकेर लगेपछि सही भयो नि
Oh, beautiful placement. Severo has a killer instinct unlike any.
At this point, Kibor says, I don't care.
Replayer गर्दैछ
Backline, midline, anyone. I'm going to catch someone because at this point, Sans and Severo has that damage. I believe he's going to use it. Got hit!
अनि चाउले लग्दिएर भ्यालेन्टिनाले दामे ओए किबोय किबोयले अनि खतरा भाग्यो यार किबोय अनि यस इमोर्टालिटी पनि कस्तो किन्दिहालेको यो इमोर्टालिटी छ एकचोटिलाई बच्छ कि नै भ्याएन
Oh no, Kyrie's starting to still save by his steel cables. I'm gonna tell you, someone give this fatty some caffeine because he has no energy, man.
बचेर खेल्ने के
Time tags in, there's nothing left. The tank is empty.
That has been the risk of playing a Fanny. Again, you do get a mechanically unique and honestly broken hero if you're talking about map mobility, but if you can't make peace with the fact that your energy dictates what you're allowed to do, this is what happens. SOD.
फेरि खाइदियो अनि फिलिपिन्सले लर्ड
Not gonna happen. Another lord for Onyx. 0 for Onyx ID, by the way. I might be confusing folks, but
Yeah.
you get the picture.
Honestly, Fanny just proves he's still be card. You need that status. Now, let's go. He still survives for now. And it looks like Onyx ID are in still good position. But again, they did this before. They got to do it again. The Lord is marching up mid.
अब चाहिँ लड रोक्न सकेन भने गाह्रै
You
पर्छ.
only got to worry about 2 waves.
Oh, arrow thrown out. Savero catches it. Gamo69 here.
लड छिर्यो है, छिर्यो लड छिर्यो.
Now Savero his first step in this whole
Only
21-minute game. Triple kill for
खाए
Kurt.
खाए ल मिनिया खान्थ्यो स्यावेज ओए ल
Takes down
यो
all
त
of
अति
the
अति स्यावेज हान्नु भने त
to the super fam.
We opened up the third place match with a
केन्द्रा
savage from
King
the
Kong.
EXP.
Last time I saw that happen was Renzio out of Smart Omega. The former
फिलिपिन्सलाई
Kings
चाहिँ
of
नोभियाले
Vietnam.
स्पोन्सर रहेछ.
We're doing it. The last I saw that was back in
इन्डोनेसियालाई चाहिँ
November, and
इन्फिनिक्स.
why Kodak Form is on a EXP Mortis. EXP getting the Savage? Now that's rare.
So Marcus, Masha,
Now, dude, a lot is going on. But one thing is for sure. Thank you very much.
Kill
You can
that.
see the clip.
that's a highlight.
That's a highlight coming in from Kelra. Looking at his matchup, it really is about Onyx Philippines starting things strong and then ending strong. And now
अनि
we're
सुरुमा
gonna
त
be
7-1 12-1 थियो यार कस्तो डोमिनेट गरेको थियो कि
about this game. A day after ending up with a phobious pick that could barely do anything against
अझ हिरो अब
SRGG in game
किङ
number
कङ
5, Kurt comes back with his signature Edith and gets a savage. I will echo what Destroyer said behind the scenes. What is this game? I don't know anymore.
That's true. That's what happened behind the scenes. Actually, it was super interesting to see how Onyx Indonesia are trying to defend. They got chances, but after the Savage, that's all.
I think I'm surprised, maybe some other people were too, that it went to this.
स्यावेज हान्थ्यो यार
game,
एडिसले.
but, hey, it brings it to another Savage for MSC. And who would have thought, yeah, like it would have been an XP later. And then, but I guess this is what you get when you have in Edith rolling with the war crime. Now, as we see Onyx celebrate, well, I just gotta say, that went
As much as we expected, when you pick up the Fanny third pick, you already see a boxer on the other side. There's a Selena. Onyx Cage even got to pick up Cho. So the difficulties of Onyx Indonesia here, they were expected. But they were able to hold on. Or was it more of an error from Onyx PH? Were they too eager to end it? Or did Onyx just have the heroes to actually punish Onyx Philippines in the defense?
Onyx Philippines got the right heroes, and I would like to say you can rely on money anymore. Sorry guys, you can blind pick it. Should be you can potentially show it, but it depends. You need to adapt for the draft.
I think especially when the boxer comes up first pick, probably don't want to go with the Fanny.
Yeah.
You know, like go
ड्यामेज सबसे धेरै ब्रुस्कोले लिएको रहेछ. ब्रुस्कोले होइन किङ कङले लिएको रहेछ 14,000 कि 14 लाख हो कत्रो हो नम्बर पनि टेकन चाहिँ रहेछ. टेकन ए यो फुल टुर्नामेन्टको स्ट्याट्स हो भाइ यो चाहिँ.
But it was also just because we get Lamaz. I give a lineup that actually allows you to defend your base pretty well, clearing things out. But the inevitable.
बेस्ट अफ 3 रहेछ.
Now we're gonna be
एक गेम
showing
ओनिक
you once
फिलिपिन्सले
again
लियो.
another savage for MSC for the EXP laner, the Edith. Having a hard time tracking where Kurt is. Oh, there he is in the middle of it all. He was almost gonna go down, but because he had full stacks Primal Wrath, it looks like that he was just able to sheer lifesteal himself back to good health and then be able to pull off the savage that he did. So I'm gonna ask you, Destroyer, is that enough that now in that game number 1 we got a savage, it went 20 minutes? Are you happy that we're getting a show, or is it not the show that you're looking for just yet?
Chat, they made a good advice. I asked for Johnson and Beatrix. They decided to fix me. Johnson plus a 10. Please, guys.
Okay. So for you, the show really isn't what happens in game. It's like what crazy things can you end up with?
No, I want to see the combination. I want to see the combination, not like the word stuff. I want to see the combination that works, and this is one of the the classic ones. When you go to the star rating and you say, "Oh, I know this, I know this," and yeah, so something like that. And I also wanted to mention, by the way, the good point that Daisa said, the Kyrie can't even make funny real. So even Kyrie can't make the funny work. So that's not only the statistics, the best junglers of the world can't make it real.
Yeah, I think at this point we're not going to be seeing Fanny for the rest of the
Still
series.
Kyrie line
For the
best
rest of MSC
jungler
as we
भन्दो
do
रहेछ
celebrate grand finals later. That was only game number 1 in the specified series for the battle for a third. When we come back, can Onyx PH continue to push it and go for a 2-0 start, or can Onyx ID take one back so that we have a potential 5-game series ahead of us? Once again, my name is Redmar. We'll be back.
बेस्ट अफ 3 हो एक फिलिपिन्सले लगिसक्यो है इन्डोनेसियाले अब एकदमै अब इन्टेन्स गेम पर्छ हो चिक
When the world of business is constantly changing, you need to stay ahead.
कमेन्ट
So
गाइस
what about AI
को
to
छन्
generate
भन्नुसँग
new
यहाँ
possibilities? Machine learning to predict what customers will like. Or expand your business by
उसका
forecasting
पज भयो
trends
जसलाई अलि फास्ट फरवर्ड हान्छु
data. The power of
नाइन नाइन
cloud.
सिधै रहेछ
Imagine how AWS can transform your business.
We asked these two teams to give us a show, and game number 1 ended with the EXP laner Kurt from Onyx Philippines on an Edith getting a Savage. What can we expect? I honestly don't know anymore.
Hey, you know what? That's something that all XP laners now can look forward to, because for all the XP laners out there, I think MSC has been one of the showcases of just how good XP lane can be, how it's transformed from maybe one of the more calmer lanes, or very stuck in one position.
Yeah, now you have a capability to
Well, off a Savage. Hey, if you want to feel like a Savage in game, go ahead and get the MSC 2025 pass. It's still available only until August 7th. A lot of exclusive items available for you, like the Nathan Archon of Knowledge skin, and the pass is 20% off 899 diamonds to 719 diamonds during the duration of MSC. You also have the tournament avatar border, the battle emo, the returning skin Atlas Rune Sentinel, the Giant Space Explorer MSC skins, and so many more rewards. So hop on in-game and get your goodies there. Now, I think, based on what we saw from game number 1, with the fact that Onyx is willing to, Onyx Indonesia, is willing to play Vanny into what looks like a difficult lineup, I think we've just increased our chances of our wishes coming true, of some crazier picks coming out. We floated the idea of Cushion. We floated the idea of Johnson on deck. Chat is looking for what was it? Nana and Hanabi?
Yeah.
Hey, come on, let's get crazy. I don't think we will, but a guy can hope.
Just at least one pick. One crazy pick.
Yeah, one crazy pick.
Just for us.
Yeah, just for us, just for one game. Like we already see Keller roll out onto the stage. By the way, we have to work on his form. He could have injured himself. Someone's got to teach Keller how to do a proper roll.
I wonder if he just got like a dare to
Yeah.
dare you to roll out on stage, man.
Maybe we potentially got to see like the, what's it called? The inner thoughts.
Internal thoughts?
Yeah, the internal thoughts just win. Like he just realized, I'm gonna do
PUBG
this.
भने त ML पो रहेछ फाइनल मलाई ओनिक फिलिपिन्स भर्सेस ओनिक इन्डोनेसिया यो थर्ड प्लेस हो है हुन चाहिँ फाइनलमा चाहिँ टिएलपिएच छ काइरी र किङ कङ परिरहेछ यहाँ
Handling the fanny so well in game number 1, still decide to ban it out and respect it.
Okay. Well, they'll ban that out. They'll respect it.
त्यो एमएल भन्दा पब्जीको फ्यान हो क्या अब त दिन्छ केटाले
Even our casters in game are like, yes, Onyx this, Onyx that, but hey, if Onyx knows he's gonna get the blue, that's fine.
लास्टमा म्यान त्यो EXP ले हैन स्यावेज हान्दिरा भने त्यो कर्क भन्नेले फिलिपिन्सकोले इन्डोनेसियाले स्यावेज हान्दै यार डोमिनेसनले पुरै डोमिनेट हान्दियो मा
Taken out last year from their side for the first phase.
Here one of the funny things. Onyx Indonesia. Yeah, but just check this. Drafts, I mean the positions, not gonna change. Because Onyx Indonesia nearly all the time prefer the second pick. Yeah. That's the reason. And the last ban is gonna catch.
Taking away a Gatot means you're looking at the Chokalea, Batangs, Bakshas to be the main
टिएलपिएच मै हाल्ने आँखा चिम्ले रोने टिएलपिएच डेन्जर खतरा छ सुरुमा टिएलपिएच आउँदा कहिले याद गरेको थिएन हामीले याद गरिसकेको थिएन याद छ कि छैन मैले भनेको थिएँ नि टिएलपिएच भनेर खतरा भइरहेछ भनेर त्यति बेला सबलाई उनिक उनिक भइरहेको हुन्थ्यो टिएलपिएच जितेपछि मात्रै मान्छेले याद गर्यो टिएलपिएचलाई ल पिकै हेर है पिक हेर यिनीहरूले यस्तो गर्छ नि पिक अनि स्वाप गर्छ के
I can see it in your face already.
Yeah, Mr. Destroyer is a certified Arlot hater.
Except for
Sanford.
Oh,
Yes,
okay,
yes.
okay.
That's the guy who can pick it, and I'm okay with it.
Got no problem. Wait, okay, real quickly, what do you feel about this Lancelot getting picked up by Onyx? Yes, it's an assassination, he's one of the best assassins in this meta. But you already see a Ruby and Arlot on the other side. I feel like this Lancelot might actually have a hard time.
Might, but also.
को को बाँकी छ पिकमा किङ कङ र कर्क बाँकी उता लुटपी र काइरी बाँकी लुटपी भन्ने EXP हो EXP र दुबईको त्यही बाँकी हो EXP र त्यो बाँकी छ ट्याङ्क
Okay, help set me up so that my Lancelot doesn't have a hard time. Second phase now, what could we potentially be looking
के होइन किबोर्ड ट्याङ्क हो नि यता त EXP र जङ्गलर भन्न लाग्दा EXP र ट्याङ्क आएर
Gold lane for Onyx Philippines to take out some of those options. Look for Severo.
ब्रुसको भन्ने ट्याङ्क हो कि भने फिलिपिन्समा तर त्यसले रुबी स्वाप हान्छ होला कि त्यो कर्कसँग जहाँसम्म लाग्छ
Arlot's there, the Ruby, but don't go 100%.
यता पनि यो साबेरो सिसी र यो लुटपी यो सिसी त्यो साबेरो भन्ने लुटपीसँग स्वाप हान्छ जस्तो छ सेम मुभमेन्ट के दुबईको हेर है जहाँसम्म लाग्छ स्वापै हान्छ
Yeah, okay, so on the idea, you're actually reading into your suggestion here, because if they're banning out phobias, that means they're still thinking of the potential.
ए अनि
Exactly.
हुन त त्यो पनि रहेछ सनसिन र ल्यान्स पनि लिइसकेको रहेछ त्यो पनि स्वाप हान्छ होला मार्क्सम्यानहरूले लिएको छ दुबईले
The most crazy thing are allowed to go into gold.
Yeah, or maybe we'll go crazy.
केला पनि मार्क्सम्यान हो सान्स पनि मार्क्सम्यान हो
Onyx ID are now keeping that potential option open. While
दुबईले एउटै दिमाग लगाएर गरिरहेको छ यार
ban here, there's still a really powerful Farsa pick available, even though you have Arlot on your side, but they are respecting the Ruby, which could have been problematic for Ruby.
फाइनल त सेयर 12 पिएच हो नि हैन
Open. I would too. For Onyx, I mean, it gives them enough damage that they've got really good play into.
के ब्यान्ड हो काली तारा हेरिस ब्यान्ड हान्छ यताबाट फिभिएस र माथिल्ला ब्यान्ड हानेछ है
The answer though over from Onyx Philippines, the Kuro. Is this? Are you happy with this? I mean, this is still a shakeup. I wouldn't call it.
काबुरा काबु ए साँच्चै यार आर्लट र रुबी छ भने त रुबी नै त्यो जान्छ होला रुम जान्छ होला यार
Like everything. A lot of things.
Yeah, that's true. That's like one of the trade-offs you have to consider picking up the Farsa. And then now it's
यो सुपर फ्रिन्स र कर्क साथ छ होला सुपर फ्रिन्स मेज हो खास
you're setting up for your Lancelot, but now you also have to protect Sounds.
So yes, this one about resources. When did
द साबेरो भन्ने पनि त्यो हो अनि मेज
two targets right now? Super target.
I like how they held on to this.
हेर न पिकमै कस्तो दिमाग लाउँछ यार यिनीहरूले हामी मलाई हामीलाई जे मन लाग्यो त्यही लिएर खेलिदिन्छ पिक होइन ब्यान्ड पनि त्यही
Ruby Gold. Yep, Ruby Gold, XP, Badang in the role.
ए बादाङ लिएर चाहिँ रोम पठाउँछ कि क्या हो कस्तो हो यो के हो यिनीहरूको पिक हेर न अनि फिलिपिन्सको
Maybe something stable. They go for a Claude under a lineup that has so many card controls that can stop his initiation.
यो सनसिन पनि मार्क्सम्यानमा पनि पर्छ होइन सनसिनले नै मार्क्सम्यान हान्न लाग्छ है केल्दाले के हो के यारमा उल्टै झुगाइदिएर यार थाहै छैन यार के गरेर यिनीहरूले
I think that's 2 drafts in a row now. Where on paper it looks like it's just so.
स्वाप हानेको हेरौँ न यार कसले कसले को स्वाप हान्यो
On PH, yeah, well, a little bit unique, but at the same time, the idea is clear, and there's a lot of capability for them to shine.
किङ कङले सनसिन लिएछ लास्टमा कर्कले आर्लोटले छ ल खै हेर्नै नपाइकन ड्याम जाउँ हटाइदियो यार
About the 2 drafts. I think we're going to see a lot of
थर्डलेसको लागि रुबी होइन होला केल्दाले रुबी लिएको हो
see Onyx Philippines
मैले हेर्नै भ्याएन नि यार
Onyx in danger with a standard draft here. Maybe they could do something by
हेरौँ त
pushing
हेरौँ
out
अब
the
हेरौँ न
early game. Welcome folks to the second game of this 3rd place matchup. It's been
त्यही त सनसिन चाहिँ बरु मार्क्सम्यान पनि पर्थ्यो होइन ठिक भयो हेरौँ होइन यो बेस्ट अफ 3 हो अनि फिलिपिन्सले 1 लिइसक्यो कि अनि फिलिपिन्सले अहिले जित्यो भने त थर्ड भइहाल्यो काइरी र किङ कङ यार सक्छ दुवै बेस्टहरू यार
now she has backup with a lot of damage. And
सान्ज किन सान्जले नै उयोमा मेज खेलेछ यार यसपालि
I know that it is a very difficult draft for this Farsa. But if you win by too much,
यसपालि यताउति ले नै स्वाप हानेछ यार केटाहरूले मान्छे मात्र होइन कि ले नै स्वाप हान्ने रहेछ
so that even
ठिक भयो ठिक भयो
happens, they can outplay.
A lot of easy, quick damage coming through, but can that force themselves through the CC? Again, the sheer amount of crowd control that Onyx BH have on
कर्क त एक्सपी यताबाट चाहिँ त्यही नै सबैजना एउटै लेन आफ्नो आफ्नो लेनै गएको रहेछ फिलिपिन्सबाट चाहिँ इन्डोनेसियाबाट चाहिँ अलिक चेन्ज हानेछ है
The majority of Arlots, save for Sanford's, have just ran into weird situations, especially the ones in Rome. But here, against CC, I think it's a valid pick.
Here's the thing, man. Looking at Onyx ID, almost every
सिरियस हाने छैन भने खै सिरियस त के नहोला यार जे हो नि
So it does feel like Onyx ID, they're trusting on their own instincts as well as mechanics. Make sure that they can outplay Onyx Philippines. So this is definitely one of those games where the action time is going to be highlighted the most.
Oh, Brusco here walking into that long side lane brush towards the corner. Kurt venges onto one key boy. Jumps in.
La कर्कलाई उयो कर्क ला गयो मेरो बस्न त खोजेको थियो है त्यो बादामले कस्तो हाल्दिएको हो
Keeping himself alive. As Keyboard starts up the turtle.
Good instinct by Kyrie, making sure it doesn't go again.
टोटल कसले खान्छ त काइरीले खान्छ होला
Very low HP.
खाइदियो
Onic PH. The duo.
एउटा टोटल इन्डोनेसियाकोमा
Onic ID claimed the turtle, and now they're attempting Grand Theft Purple. Final slash once more. Can they stop it? The tsunami slam takes down Kurt.
30 डायमन्डको गोड खै
It's on Kyrie.
And now, honestly, even though, yes, E-Boy got taken down, this is what Onic ID is trying to establish. Some kind of map control earlier on, especially giving over the goal to either Sans or Kyrie. Kyrie, even though he only got 2 assists, it's better than nothing, right? Of course, you want to kill here, but either way, I feel like this is very good by Onic.
1 2 जुटपी र सन्जले किल खाएको रहेछ दुईटै कर्कलाई हान्दै रहेछ आर्लुट दुईचोटि मरेछ है क्वालिटी ड्यामेज भएको छैन तिम्रो त्यो अटोमा छ होला हेर त
Very good movements to isolate certain parts of Onic BH's attempts at, chain CCs. And so far, I think this is going
त्यो
to
क्वालिटी अटोमा भइराख्ने हुन सक्छ है
He takes care of himself and he invests in himself and his kid. Then he has this clutch G late game that maybe will allow him to claw Onic ID back. But what if they're comfortable? What if they're in a good position all game long?
Looking at the rotations here coming in from Onic ID, whereby Turtle 2, it will most likely be 5-man coming in from Onic Ruby. So they have to make a decision whether they want 4-5 or 5-5.
And that's 30 seconds from now. They started off already a tsunami slam on the cart.
हाय यार यो कर्कलाई मात्रै पेलिरहेछ कर्कले भर्खर अघि स्याभेज हान्दै हो के
Maybe. Onic ID is secretly just destroyer. They really don't like that.
ठिक होला नि कलिरी भाइ
He was in their ear. And it makes sense because part of the joke, you want to get that final slash out of the equation. That can change the entirety of your approach. Imagine being within retribution range, get hit by that sweeping ult, push to the side, and then suddenly King Kong steals it. Speaking of King Kong, Mount Shocker, revealing everyone from Onic ID where their whereabouts are. The I'm offended forcing the response to Feather.
खाइदियो ल
Trying to stop him from getting in the way. King Kong scores it.
उल्टै किङकङले चाहिँ हान्दियो यार तर काइरीले चाहिँ मार्न भ्याएछ है कागुरालाई
On to one, Kurt flickers back. The break once more, trying to stop the forward momentum of Onic ID will result in a 2-for-1 trade. Make that a 3 because Onic PH got the turtle.
Right now, I feel we can finally hear some noise coming in from Kyrie fans because how long have they waited for him to use this kind of pick, using the landslide, dashing in and out, getting all those kills, and now it's looking amazing.
Too long, LaFell, too long. He's so comfortable. You can see it in his movement.
के हो यार औँला त के चलाइरा हो न त्यसले
Years back to run away from an inevitable death that we all could have sworn he was going to die from. But Kyrie looked at death and said, nah, not today. About 2,000 goals ahead, Onic IDR, and the map seemed to be on their side. Again, this is just going to benefit Savero all the while. He's not sweating at all.
Kyrie, and again, they're going for one lane. They found counter, they want to go for it.
केलरले खाइदियो लेन चाहिँ स्वाप हाने रहेछ नि त कर्क र केलरले
You flicker back, you were still going to die regardless. You were right smack dab in the middle of the circumference of that feathered airstrike, and there's so much pressure up top. Mount Shocker used up the stun portion of that ult, going to push back Onic ID.
And this is how you make sure that your far side is safe by everyone that can disable you, which is using the ultimate crowd control. Death, just kill them first. So this is a good initiative coming in from Onic ID. So far, Kurt not having a good time going up against Lupi. Kyrie's here, looks like he's not going to go for any kind of engage. Saving all those kills for his rookie.
Sadly, the one way that the Arlot could have been good into the CC is if you're away from the lane, if you're fighting somewhere else, if you're using your...
इभोले त दुईचोटि नै कलिया खेल्यो यार
Putting it at the tip of the feathered airstrike. Sans wailing away, hits him with 2 salvos, but Keller survives with a flicker, but he's out of the conversation for this turtle take.
Yeah, but again, no tsunami slam coming in from E-Boy, so they got to make sure wherever he gets
अनि सेट हाने बादामले ल भाग्दिएर
Forcing the vengeance.
ओइ ओनी कस्तो लुट दुईजना खाइदियो यार तीनजनै
Savero gets a double on Onyx ID are running through the super family.
I gotta say, man, Farsa and Cody are best
टोटल
friends.
एउटा र दुईटा खाए दुईटा इन्डोनेसियाले खाएछ
Possible. Have 5 counters on your side. I don't care. This Cody is gonna give so much kill or opportunity for the Farsa to actually be doing much. Right now, we're looking into the replay here where Luffy was the one that got engaged, but that vengeance made it so that not only did he survive, but actually got a lot of reflect damage onto Onyx buildings. And this iteration of Lancelot deals so much damage so that that kind of outplay is possible.
Back to real life here. Sans just pulled a feathered airstrike to try and help Savero clear this wave and possibly take down this turret a notch or two. And I just noticed something. Rafael, this humble skin on Savero's clone, its blazing duet is deceptively subtle.
Yeah.
It has a very low visual identity. You barely know that it's going on up until you see your life just
At half. Gotta stick it with. Looks like an early gauge going in, but looks like T-Boy no one.
अनि बादाङको सेप त हान्यो तर
punching his way through his problems, through Onyx Page's problems, and now Kurt right in the middle, smack dab of 4 members of Onyx ID gets punished. On Shocker plus a stun, not gonna stop Ludpi's forward momentum, popping that vengeance, keeping Onyx ID's momentum up.
Onyx BH has a tough time asking Onyx ID to slow down, to stop moving. They have a lot of crowd control, but again, all of it is being avoided by Onyx in the defense because we're seeing them moving in and out and taking fight quite freely. And I would say this is more on Onyx ID having that instinct of dodging all those kills where we see Kyrie just stopping in his own tracks, anticipating some kind of engagement coming in from Kurt or Risco.
Yep, fundamentally speaking, Onyx ID have all of the initiation. Onyx ID have all the ways to start fights. Onyx BH, what they're really good at is anticipating and reacting. I'm offended.
यसपालि चाहिँ फेरि इन्डोनेसियाले चाहिँ त्यो गरिरहेछ लिड गरिरहेछ टन्नै 210 8 किलको लिड अन्ने काइरीले 2 किल हानेछ किङकङले 1 किल दुवैजना मरेको छैन एकचोटि नै लड कसले खान्छ त खान्छ मिठो खायो यार Sisi कस्तो छिरेको यार तान्यो
So far, so good, so great for Onyx ID taking
अनि
two
इमोट
kills.
देखाउँदै हिँडिरहेछ
Plus the Lord along the way, marching down bot. The super fam, they take out your break again. It's in the nature of these lineups. Who's the beat down? 99% of the time, it's Onyx ID. A feathered airstrike plus another
ओए त्यो
tsunami
किबोर्डले कस्तो ताने यार केल्लालाई तर भ्याएनै उल्टै किबोर्ड चाहिँ गयो
goes down.
I like the attempt, but yeah, so far Onyx will be
मुभमेन्ट त डेन्जर थियो यार त्यो किबोर्डको
1,000 gold. They're able to take a lot on the map. The Lord is still marching in. It's still the first Lord, so it's not going to be that devastating.
लड कहाँ पुगेछ लड तल पुगेछ
Inhibitors, the mid lane
तल सिल चाहिँ फोड्दै रहेछ है त्यो लडको लागि सजिलो होस् भनेर दिमाग त लाउने यार डेन्जर है
you don't get any harm after this.
But here's what's scary, Rafael. I have to mention. Onyx BH, yes, they are a reactive lineup. Their comp would like to wait for you to try and engage. That's very strong on the high ground defense. It's lethal, especially if you're underneath your tier 3s. And look at this.
यो त इन्डोनेसियाले नै खान्छ क्या हो
We're ready for another tsunami slam. T-boy, you want any of us?
This is kind of scary because Kyrie did a lot of damage with just the war out. Now having the MS battle as well, there's going to be a lot more burst damage as well as healing going back into this. Looking at it, still respectable amount of damage with Laker Spirit as well. But I'm just like, a lot of penetration cooldown as well as just raw damage, but you really can't compare when your Lancelot had one defense I think even if you do patch it,
मार्क्स पनि नलि खेल्दै यार केटाहरू
Thomas about 1,000 away from finishing his endless battle, so that's definitely a big power spike that you can expect. All this while, Savera just picked up his rose gold meteor dog.
कागुरा कता गएर हो
Item after the Swift Trinity. So it already comes to reason that even in the mid game, you're
अनि
already hurting
कस्तो
with
कुरिरहेछ यार सबजना पोजिसनमा बसिरहेछ
What more now?
अनि काइरी देखाइदियो नि त काइरीको लेन्स
Just for a second or two longer. He invested in this, mind you, instead of the Wind of Nature. But look, the Wind of Nature would also be very good since there are 3 fighters.
I gotta say, Onyx, you gotta do like assassin, hold the backline, either Kurt, Crisco, or Hex and Prince. Maybe even anyone could maybe do that. Because I gotta feel like the moment you're able to stop that S right,
Lord आयो Lordले हान्दैछ
all the more easier. If anything, look, they have great tools. They have the Mount Shocker. They can see where the pieces of Onyx ID are, but this 9K only is just too huge. Kelra here. Nice attempt. Flicker, I'm offended.
ब्रुसको
No
क्या
one
दौडेर
home.
आएको के
But here comes the punish. Keyboy looking for a target. Already
Keyboyले कसलाई समात्छ होला त
Brusco and Kirk hit with a curtain call. Brusco able to retreat.
भाग्यो
Onyx PH set packet.
अब चाहिँ इन्ड हान्छ जस्तो यार इन्डोनेसियाले लेन्स के गर्दैछ लिथो हान्दै रहेछ ब्लू खान गयो लेन्स
This could be an N angle, but like you said, draft coming in from Onyx Philippines, they're actually very good at defending. So Onyx ID, if they want it, you gotta get some close.
Onyx ID are just waiting for this Lord to come a crashing.
किङ कङले इन्डलेस ब्याटर लिएको छ
Of these waves from mid and top. Not gonna be fully synced, but at least
Keyboyले अब सेट हान्छ होला उडेर मा
here comes the Lord, putting that bottom
तलको टावर गयो
at about 0 health.
Keyboy यहाँ छ है
Pushing the advantage. Now shocker here by King Kong. Checking
Only.
range. Final slash by going, but
Nice,
Keyboy
nice.
answers back in kind. Kirk very well. Kirk
Wait,
goes down.
wait, wait.
Sans gets the kill. And that's already one member of the Super Fam taken out of the equation. Super Prince very low as well. Kyrie takes him. And now
Kyrie
here
भयो त
comes the
फेरि
Vero holding on to the Blink duet. Does not use it just yet.
दुईजना किल छ
Oh,
उनी
the
फिलिपिन्सको
discipline of this young man.
सिसीले यार विन्टर क्राउन लियो
Hasn't gone back yet. It's like, I'm barely having any HP, but you know what? I can take some nation still. It's like on ID.
उनी इन्डोनेसियाको सबै छ यार 25जना छ
Inhibitor, and now the medium waves, they're
सिधा हुन्छ क्या सिधा एक
Also
जस्तो
on the finish.
फार्साले त्यहाँ देखि सिधा
Only I'm offended, not enough to save him. Didn't even get to pull it out. Here comes the blazing duel.
पर्कायो
King Kong on a
पर्कायो
ball. And just Kirk left to defend. Can he do it? Vengeance was a final
भ्याएन
slash, was
सिद्धियो
another
ल
vengeance. And
1-1
now it's over. Onyx ID take us to deadlock. 1-1.
ठिक भयो
took a while, but finally,
अब
this is the Onyx
पर्सन द फाइनल म्याच
a lot of burst damage, a lot of engages, a lot of
यार उनी फिलिपिन्सले छोडेकै हो कि क्या हो
that we want to see.
आफ्नै टिम हो भनेर उनीको उनीकै हो
Either like what he saw,
भिलान नगरौँ भन्ने टाइप्सले छोड्दै हो कि 1-1 अब चाहिँ बरु रियल खेलौँला भन्ने टाइप्सले
I didn't see that happening. But again, to be fair, that Arlen was tanking gross. Like it almost felt like his story was there.
नाइस
Like,
नाइस
just make sure this Arlen goes through.
Luckily, it worked out. Again, all of this pressure on Onyx PH. And that half of the map was enough to stop him from doing anything at all.
And with this action-packed match, I'm pretty sure the panelists have a lot to say. So we're going to be throwing over to you guys, where right now Onyx ID has equalized.
I told you so.
There you have it. There you have it. Validated in his opinions about the Arlon. Kirk struggled here, but yeah, we said Onyx Page had the easier lineup to pull off theoretically, but what happened?
Did until we
Arlot.
forgot about Arlot, man. The state of Arlot right now is not very good. Unless the one caveat there, Stanford, like we've seen so far. But yeah, there's something about it. Talk about a contrast from game 1 to game 2 for Kirk specifically. Really difficult here, and I think Onyx and Indonesia just really played into the part that every single time that we want to find someone to go ahead and tsunami slam, Kirk's the easiest. He usually puts himself in position to do that anyway because he's trying to get a final slash off. So they just really punished hard and didn't give any opportunity really for anything to happen off of that.
They just played the heavy block Indonesia late for the first target, and they were focused like, okay, we see our lot, let's go our lot. And the biggest problem for the Kirk, again, it's our lot definitely, and he got no escape. If you engage, one-way ticket. That's all. That's the problem. It's not about the Kirk playing plan. It's about our lot all the time.
Yeah, it's not even just Kirk, but also I think it was just, you know, it's nice to see the Kagura man, but that also just didn't work. Like, it didn't do too much. once that yin yang overturn is done, then if you're comparing that to the damage or that value that the Farsa brings, like it's not terrible at all.
Yeah, just the combo of those two alone. As we mentioned, it was the Tsunami Slam, Feathered Airstrike. Whoever is the first target that you see, that's it. Pretty much GG for Onyx PH in terms of the fights, because once they lose one frontliner, it's so tough to sustain a fight when you have your R-Lot gone, when you're going up against what Onyx ID brought to the table. So, is it really just the story of R-Lot
Story of month. Five,
Okay.
more than 4.
Well, yeah. Like with one guy always constantly just getting picked off, then yeah, you're gonna have a man disadvantage. And if you're not getting the items and the flow of the game that you want on the side of Onyx PH, yeah, Onyx ID can run away with it. What we thought was gonna have a hard time, the Lancelot of Kyrie, we did not see that at all. He had a perfect game.
Again, it was enabled because of the way the competition worked, the way the lineup worked. It was all good for them, and you also sprinkle in the fact that when you're that far behind, even in one of the lanes, like it's so difficult, especially when you're the guy who's like supposed to set things up. Like that's initially what Arlot's picked up to do, and if you don't get that opportunity to do that, like you're an automatic dead hero. You know, like that's just the case of it. Like we saw from the KDA, he was just trying to force things up. But so this gives room for Kyrie to just flow through the game, and that's probably the best position to be in when you're playing these assassin junglers like the Lance.
You know, one more thing. When you play with so much AOE composition, you're straightforward. You got one plan, and your opponents totally understand it. When you got the setup, when you can take one person, okay, just remove it, and you got an advantage. And the problem when you got this AOE composition, the second problem, it's not only that your opponent understands what you're going to do. If you lose one person, so your comp doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, it just gets busted. It's like what we were posing earlier about there's a chance that the lineup of Onyx PH can shine individually outside of team play. It's if, funnily enough, they're complete as a team. If the 5 members are there, then you have an increased chance of, okay, you can get the Ruby doing its own thing, the Arlot doing its own thing, but you lose one of that element, now you're forced to play together as 4 against a lineup that just burst at 5, and the crowd wasn't even there yet.
Yeah, you needed way too much time, and you can see. I mean, even given the loss here, both teams still really in high spirits, even pointing at each other, laughing at each other, and smiling. So, you know, I know when we got into this match, it was like, well, we hope to see some entertainment, some great picks come out. Well, I think so far for 2 games we have seen that. Some might
Savage,
other years, yeah. You know, we saw the second Savage now in the MSC. So, I think that's the thing. But that's the main point is. For these fun drafts and for these fun picks, if you lose like one of the main components to make it work, and this has been the case throughout MSC, then you're going to lose those team fights, you know, every single time.
Yeah, and I think we're also seeing now as to why Claude has been popping more off now, especially here in this knockout stages, because now that becomes your X factor. Where in let's say 4v5, you've already, or let's say in a theoretical 5v5, you've used majority of your abilities. But then the Claude hasn't used his Blazing Duet yet, and even without the Blazing Duet, we know how good Claude is. He's just great with a sustained basic attack. That now seeing, okay, now you really have to do Claude, and how we set up for the Claude success. So that might be one of the next heroes now we'll see getting contested by Claude.
Yeah, I hope so, especially with Leon, I guess. I know sometimes it's a little bell with the sound effects, but yeah, I need those sound effects.
Also, there's one of that most is from a player.
That's a great point. Yeah, you have your 6 matches plus 6 versus 5. Okay, so now that's one of our things we're looking out for here. Simple math.
Wait, so technically in that case, in Destroyer math,
Yeah.
when they lost the R-Lot, it's still a 5v5. Right? Wait, no, wait.
Why?
No, then wait, what was the
6v4s.
It's these 6v4. Never mind,
You
you're
see,
out. Destroyer math.
outsmarted.
I like that. Okay, so they just outsmarted over with the monkey. So in Destroyer math, does the umbrella of the Kagura count player? No.
No.
But Dexter does.
Yes.
Okay, so simple destroyer math here. For Onyx came through with a six-man Dexter in the hands of Sabero, the gold lane of Onyx ID. And yeah, it's good to see that Onyx, despite the shattering loss in game number one, it's like they stuck back to a basic idea of pick off one, let's go after that. And then maybe moving forward, that's what we'll see from Onyx ID. That maybe less of the fannies, less, yes, you can still get high mechanic heroes for Kyrie, but just get that raw damage that you know Indonesian teams are like known for dishing out.
Yeah, they like that very specific play style, and you know, honestly, we've seen pretty much all of the teams kind of adapt to that so far with our current meta. I don't know, would you guys say that our meta for, because we always talk about this when it comes to internationals, and even in our own respective regions, do you think it's actually established now, or is it like, is that meta, can we say, which is so odd because on the last day, are we saying that it's established?
No, I think it's still shifting.
Yeah.
It's still in progress.
I think we're in agreement there. I think it's established, but in the sense that everyone knows that there's so many options that you can go for. That it's like a wide pool.
During this MSC, we got around 85 heroes, right?
Yeah, enough.
So
yeah.
something like that. And we're still in progress of search. And the pro players totally understand. I even pretty sure that the coaches are still sitting and calculating like, what should I do this here, what's better? Like 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 2, 2 plus 2 is 4, etc. Dexter. So
All the math.
Destroy math.
Destroy math.
Yeah, everything here.
All right. Here's a little bit more math for y'all out there. All the way up until August 7th, the MSC 2025 chest, will be available for only 20 diamonds. You can draw the luxury reward, the returning MSC skin Atlas Ruling Sentinel, plus your first 3 openings of the chest guarantee you Crystal of Aurora and Banner of Morale. That's not all, because up to 1,000 MSC coins could be yours too. Buy the MSC support chest now and cheer for our mid-season cup. Again, we are in the final day of the mid-season cup after everything that's happened in wild cards, group stages, now here in the knockouts. It's 1 for 1 and the battle for third. And with all of the crazy picks we suggested, all right, I think we have to find some stability. Stability in the EXP lane. Maybe Arlot might not be the best route to go for, or if you're considering going to Arlot, maybe a little bit later. You don't? For you, it's straight up just no more Arlot.
No more. Not in this series, please, guys.
I was just saying, we might see him later for the grand final match.
Okay.
Chill out a bit on the Arlot.
Just rewind the time. Yes, we can.
Okay, first pick for Onyx PH, I think, the YSS first pick was great, and then I think a little bit down the line, they just sort of lost it. I wouldn't mind if they go for YSS here, and then we can get just readjusted picks for Onyx PH. The last time we saw Onyx versus Onyx PH in a Boonton tournament was actually in the M3 World Championship group stage, where Sans played as the jungler and won 1-0. So that was during the time where M3 group stages. Wait, no, that was a best of 2, right? Because you could go 1-1 if I remember.
Was it a best of 2?
Maybe at that point he did just 1.
Yeah.
With a lot of MLBBs, it's M3. So
Gosh, I was gonna say M3. That's been a while. You know, I remember specifically watching M3 in just at home. Like I was just like I wasn't even casting it. I was just watching it.
no, wait, what? You were already casting.
Was I?
Yeah.
No. Okay. Wait.
You just weren't flown out. And then we had the Filipino
No,
broadcast.
that was after my first season. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was after your first season.
So I still felt like
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So as expected, Onyx Philippines can will still go to the Eastern route, but you just have to readjust. Maybe a bit more stable picks in the EXP lane, and maybe not too crazy a pick in the mid lane. Like something a little bit more simple than the Kagura.
Do they maybe just take the Farsa? Like, you know, that might be able to work really well with the YSS pick. You can see the Gano69 over here.
What do they?
Don't think that they potentially think about and adjust the draft about it. If you already mentioned, actually, Remar, you mentioned today that if he's going back, and they got nearly equal range. I mean, speaking about the Farsa and could also be one of the options, and I think that's why Onyx rushed the Gatotkacha and even the Lancelot. It's like they're already telling Onyx Page, we know your best options are either like Farsa, Eve, heroes like that. That will make it difficult for you to play those artillery mages.
Yeah, I mean, if they still want to pick up the Farsa, that's fine. I think Eve is very situational in a lot of cases, though, too. But the fact that you already have this YSS up, the Selena is gone, so they'll go with another pick that has found an interesting place in the current meta. Like, Jushin still works, but there are obviously teams that utilize it better now that you have a Phobius, too, that can be that, front line. I feel like usually that's the case anyway, unless you have a really hard start to the game. But Phobius naturally is going to be tanky enough, but then you get the Labu on the other side from Monica Indonesia.
The signature pick for Kirk. If you speak about Phobos, he really likes it. He performs well.
Oh, we saw.
Oh, but it's going to be on ID. It's going to be in the hands of Loopy. Kirk will get the Phobius, which struggled last night. But let's see how well it will fare this time around. Good thing that they banned the CC though.
Seriously, no pass, seriously.
So both teams are in agreement. Now Onyx PH knows that Onyx will shine really well with artillery mages. I think it's going to be up to them if they're going to ban either the Kadita or the Farsa. That will most likely end up in the hands of Sans.
I think maybe you just take out the Farsa here for the last ban. I think maybe since we saw them ban out the Kadita before, there it is.
Yeah.
So they ban that out. Maybe just better to go ahead and handle the Kadita if they decide to go ahead and draft it for Onyx Indonesia. And then over on the other side, you see that Baksha was taken out. So
Yeah, 1-1 भयो अब फाइनल दुईजना बिचमा चाहिँ फाइनल को थर्ड हुने भनेर बेस्ट अफ 3 रहेछ अब जो जिता वही सिकन्दर यसपालि घटुकजर फिबिएस पाएको छ है फार्सा र वाइभी जस्तो लाग्यो त्यो ब्यान्ड भएको अर्को चाहिँ यता बाक्स्या हिलोस रुबी 1-1 सेलमा ब्यान्ड
Another hero that you're not a big fan of here, Destroyer. It's okay. I'm not a big fan, but it depends. It depends on the trio. Trio with Lancelot and Gatotkachi. You got good push potential for the mid lane. You can rotate fast, no problems here, but you need time. And here's a question to the Onyx Philippines. You need something super fast, and like for skipping lanes and initiation. So Cho, yeah, I feel like Cho's probably going to be the perfect pick here. Answering Nice's question earlier, the roam pick for Bruce.
So perfect हुन्छ भन्दा छ त होला त
Oh no, the strong.
Well, it is in a different lane at least.
Yeah, it's in the roam, but
यसपालि हेरी थान्न लाग्छ है केलराले
they took photos, so there is no
किमी हैन त्यो किमी हान्न लाग्छ
so happy. And Onyx Philippines. Destroyer. Here we go again.
I think this is good though.
चुक्सिन बन्या यार चुक्सिन दादा
At least in this case, you could go ahead and play into the Harith, and I think that's why those last picks were held on to, because you could either, and this is always the case with Arla, it's always a 50-50, because you can use it to set things up really well for the Zaman Force, or it could end up just putting yourself in a bad position, but you're also covering it with a Phobius, so you have that there. You can see the last pick is the
ग्रेन्जरले चाहिँ ग्रेन्जर अब लेन स्वप हान्छ
I was making the point that they need,
Hero swap.
I mean, Onyx Philippines need a strong triple mid, and they take a lot.
कुकुस कहाँ स्वप हानेछ त
You got Destroyer Knights who torn apart in
उसकोले
the center of the
चुक्सिनले
map.
चाहिँ सुपर फ्रेन्ड्स रोम खेल्न लाएर होइन होइन के हो को रोम हो त यार यो फिरियसले रोम गर्छ कि आर्लटले रोम गर्छ त यताबाट चाहिँ के हो मिड
There's a lot to say about this one. I love the Kimi Granger, and you know what? We might need medic for Destroyer because there's going to be a lot of Arlet in this matchup. But welcome back. This is game number 3, the special 5 between Onyx ID going up against Onyx Philippines, the third place match. We're starting it here, and again, Assassin versus Assassin, King Kong and Kyrie.
You know, LFL, I'm worried about our friend from the ECA because he's this close to getting an aneurysm, but I think that is from a lack of faith.
He's molding.
He's molding, but I see what Onyx Nature are getting to here. This is Brusco now. Did you see how Brusco played on the Badang game number 1? Look at this, he's very low. Gonna take it down, Keyboy. He's down on 5th of his health.
Keyboy चाहिँ ट्याङ्क हो
The choke on the Keyboy. King Kong coming in with an early rotation too. Might even score the Little Wanderer. That's a technical knockout on Brusco, but hey, that's the cost of getting aggressive early on.
तर यिनीहरूले लेन हिरो सबै स्वाप हान्दो रहेछ है लेन पनि स्वाप हान्छ हिरो पनि स्वाप हान्दो रहेछ ल फर्स्ट ब्लड है झुक्सिनको किमीलाई हान्दियो केलाले अब ह्यारिस डेन्जर खेलाइदिने होला यो चाहिँ अब असली म्याच हुन्छ कि यो अब जो जिताएको सिकन्दर छ हैन लास्ट म्याच
blast on the focus. He wants to clear quick and leave.
I mean, look at that. He even has the thrill. So, kind of wants to win the lane, kind of. Making sure that there's...
I best of
I guess.
3 हो कि
Looking at how the map is
3 गेम चाहिँ को फर्स्ट जित्ने हो कि
so far, it doesn't
कस्तो
translate too much. It's just good for Onyx in the name.
बेस्ट अफ 5 नै हुन सक्छ बेस्ट अफ 3 नै हुन सक्छ है
They do want to play for that turtle. The difference is, this time without the Kalia, the setup is...
यो म्याच पछि थाहा हुन्छ अब यो
There's more steps for Onyx ID to find success. Now Onyx PH first to the scene, looking for that choke on the Keyboy. Kirk putting him up. The bravest fighter set in already. Lutpi ready to go. Throwing hands. Or should I say throwing swords into the back line. King Kong
काइरी छैन जस्तो लाग्यो खै काइरी थरेछ नदेखेर किङ कङले चोर्दियो है टोटल
Onyx PH pushing the advantage. Look at this, they're crossing the threshold. Crimson Beacon.
झुक्सिनले गिद्दी हान्न थालिसक्यो यार
Keyboy forces these are revitalized, but it's not going to
ओए
be enough.
तर कीबोयले ट्राई त गरे हो है
PH squad are way too deep to find nothing.
2-0
Keyboy.
This is the consequences of dying early as a mid laner. You don't get that level 4 on time. And that cost us Elizabeth. Hey, Lutpi trying to get something back, getting a kill. And it looks like he's able to escape, no problem.
They did not expect a rogue Lapu Lapu to be waiting for them in the bush. And it's Kirk.
ग्रेन्जर र किमी लिएको छ यार यिनीहरूले इन्डोनेसियाले
Again, you give Kelra and Savero space.
कतिको पुस हान्छ त हेरौँ
Kyrie going for that small camp attempt. Another cross.
काइरी लकाड्दैछ झुक्सिनलाई अनि झुक्सिनले देखाइदियो त इमोट र म्यारिकल
Overall, a lot of attempts coming in from both teams, but nothing super successful just yet. So then you gotta look at those timers on those flickers, especially.
एक किल यताबाट पनि लिएछ त लपु लपुले हानेछ एक किल है कसलाई हानेछ भन्दा फिभियसले हाने जस्तो छ हो नि
Savero having that hunter strike, it does mean hold on.
अनि आदरले मिठो तान्दियो त
Shocker's thrown out. Oh, but Bruce
ल्यान्सले खाइदियो काइरी
but no one caught with the final slash. They put it where they wanted to be. Onyx ID are at least cutting it close, 2-2.
We can definitely see Onyx.
फिभियस सबसे ब्यान्ड हुने हो यार खास त फिभियसै अन छ
How many times have they can't commit at this point? It looks personal.
Yep, this is the same situation that they found themselves in game 1. Again, we're not used to Sans being forced to play reactively, to be on the back foot, and this seems to be the play for the super fam. Now Savero put down to half health. This is where the turtle is going to be spawning, so this is hitting 2 birds with 1 stone, crushing the gold lane and starting up early. Keyboy, the middle of 3 here. Red Revitalize already used. The Brusco down to 5th of his health, and the Mount Shocker. Keyboy doesn't want to catch the tail end of that stun.
को फर्स्ट हो त्यहाँ लुटपी फर्स्ट हो
Finds Brusco into the back line there, and he is still alive. Spellbound going to keep it
बल्ल गयो टोटल काइरीले नि आयो 1-1 टोटल
The second turtle. Keyboy might go down here. The captain of the
झुक्सिनले गिद्दी गर्ने न च्याप्प समातेर राख्दिरा भर्खर त्यहाँ
See the idea coming in from Onyx Indonesia. Doesn't matter who, as long as it's Arlen, you gotta take him down. And I gotta say, Leo, the fact that Sans has been targeted so much.
है झुक्सिन नाइस खेलिरहेछ
He's so ungankable that you just gotta go mid. Going to the EXP is gonna be difficult going up against this Lapu Lapu. So, you know, Savero's so
यता फेरि लपु लपु घटोकच किमी ग्रेन्जर हेर न कस्तो वाला पिक हो दुईजना बाहुबली दुईजनामा त्यस्तै फास्ट हान्नेहरू क्या अब
They already have the turtle there anyway.
पुस हान्नलाई
Regardless, they would not waste time to try and take down the Savero. So this is the best Onyx PH can do is to just check what's going on with Savero. lest they will still continue to try pressure Sans. Sans jumping up, forcing a flicker from Super Prince. Another response. Do they know this is 4? Yes, they do know it's 4, and it's still worth it. Keyboy, revitalized already. Final slash, it's 2. Displacing Sans, but Keyboy might bite it here.
Chuksin तान्दिने के हैन
Between these
त
three,
बचे अल्टी हानेर गयो खटो
there's really nothing going on.
ठीक
Instead, it does by time and space for Keller to
केल्ला
push
पुसतिर
though. Down
लाग्दैछ
bottom, that's the first taken down. Zaman force drop to push Savero back.
At this point, I'm pretty sure Terra is a bit annoyed because not trading with Savero. Savero's playing very, very safe.
Fight me!
Fight me! Come on, man! You're a Ranger! You know how to use this here? But yeah, looking at the fight, looks like Keyboy was trying really hard to bait out as many skills as possible coming here from Onyx Philippines and then just trading the deal with the AOG. Looking at the goal difference here, not a lot of goal difference when we're looking at goal. The biggest difference is in the jungle, but this is the thing about Yisun. Just farm up very, very fast, and he's using it to his advantage.
The meta may change, but players' habits do not.
Lancelot चाहिँ किरा हान्दै रहेछ
Keeping up his juggling pattern and his speed, even
टटल आयो
Final turtle spawns, lower quarter. Here we go. Onyx PH, major presence here. Push control here from Brusco. Missing the flicker spent in already. Keyboy splitting up Super Prince and King Kong.
ओइ ल लपुले खाइदिएछ यार टोटल नाइस इन्डोनेसियाको दुईटा टोटल
Kyrie, but it's not enough. They're compromised. Brusco falls.
ओइ कटो
Keyboy splitting up the rest of
झुक्सिनलाई खाइदिइहाल्यो ग्रान्डले सही गरे आज झुक्सिनले रुवाउँछ अहिले
For the M6 World Champions there in that turtle tank. Goes all to the Sky Kings.
Luffy is
अनि
amazing
घरको
at
ताक्दैछ
speeding up
सेकेन्ड पावर
practice,
चाहिँ
man, because he
Cancel
makes sure that
गरेछ
there's no 5v5 team fights. He goes to the back line, makes you choose who do you want to deal with, everyone else or just me.
That doesn't sound as good as it looks, but Luffy is doing God's work for the Indonesian champions here. And there's just not him doing that. Keyboy too. Look at this late entry AOG coming in. And there it is. Oh, masterful. Onyx PH really had no business being deep into that fight the way they were.
Yeah, this is a good way for Onyx Indonesia to approach this team fight, which is just making sure it's not a 5v5. Don't make it honest. Make it so that you gotta choose who you gotta deal with. And we got a lot to deal with here. Onyx ID still 1,000 gold ahead. Good going up against Onyx Philippines. But again, looking at their damage dealers, looking at Terra as well as King Kong, they're in a very good position to get back to the team.
Yep. If anything, King Kong is in a more beneficial spot. Keyboy here, unable to pop the AOG to be able to retreat. King Kong is just going to farm.
किल चाहिँ दिन चाहिँ नमान्ने है तर भन्नै पर्यो भने त्यस्तो इजिले
Maybe that's what made the 500 goal difference, but the Super Fam ain't sweating it. The Super Fam ain't sweating it. Onyx ID are looking for their wins, licking their wounds. They've lost 1,000 gold lead. I don't know where to find it next, because to be able to split up a family, right, as you so eloquently put it, the family has to be
भर्खर
together.
जुत्ता लिइरहेको छ यार लपुले के सामान बनायो होला त लपुले
Spread out.
Yeah, the fact that
लडायो
King Kong, I feel like Keyboy really
पर्दैछ
And Kirk is
कटो
gonna go
कोचले
down.
ओइ दुईजनालाई पार्दियो है
Savero gets the kill. Zaman force spent in by Kelra, dashing through, and Suns
अनि केलराले हान्दियो सान्जलाई
Chrono Vision. Now Keyboy left to the
झुक्सिनले गिदी गर्यो ल गिदी गर्यो झुक्सिनले
2-for-1 the trade. Onyx PH come out on top.
अब त फिलिपिन्सले नै हान्छ होला लड त भ्याउँछ होला केलरा चाहिँ जोन हान्नलाई बसिसक्यो
Calculating the amount of damage that Yisun Shin could do because the last time we saw him, it was just a 100 strike. But now he has a BOD as well. Look into the mid lane here. Look at how Yisun Shin, King Kong enters the fight. Flicker used and then getting to both sides as well as
Kyrie
Savero
blue
got
खाँदै रहेछ
caught.
अहिले
Their fight a little bit too late. I can't blame them. Who would have saw that coming?
Also,
गटुलाई गिद्दी हान्दैछ झुक्सिनले त्यही भन्ने अल्ट हान्नै नगएर भाग्नु ए त्यतिखेर नि त्यसले अल्ट हान्न लाग्थ्यो हो घटो कसले मैले त देखेन नि यार त्यो कुलडाउनमै थियो कि के हो त्यस्तो भयो मैले त देखेन त्यही नै झुक्सिन यहाँ त्यतिकै ब्यान्ड हान्नुपर्छ भन्छु हो रुवाउँछ भने रुवाउँछ अझ लेटमा झन् यस्तो गिदी गर्छ अहिले के हुन्छ यहाँ दुईजना गयो यार यिनीहरू तिनजना गयो झुक्सिन कहाँ गयो भने आम्बो झुक्सिन दादा यार नडरै गइदिरहेको त्यहाँ गएर हान्न गइरहेको रहेछ झुक्सिन भ्याउँछ त्यो एउटा टावर त
This charge on the
क्रिप
inhibitor.
छैन रहेछ
Onyx
ल ल
PH,
ठिक
a blitzkrieg up
ब्रुसको
top.
के
I gotta
लेखेको
say, I didn't see that one
अलर्ट
coming because I thought the Dark Wave missed with the flicker, but they made it work, and now the inhibitor up top is destroyed. Looks like this
यार कारीलाई
second
त्यही
down bottom is gonna follow suit. And if
बेस्ट
it
अफ 5 नै
doesn't,
जस्तो लाग्यो
Crystal
मलाई
here
त
now
अब
having
चाहिँ
that holy crystal.
बेस्ट अफ 3 होइन
A lot
जस्तो
of
बेस्ट
damage
अफ
that
5
Onyx
होला
ID has to chunk through, and now Onyx ID, they don't even have a good way to actually initiate a fight. It's so different between a Gatukacha as well as Kalista.
झुक्सिन त यार अति
Just press your all, whoever's there, you just go with it.
There's a lot of foresight involved if you're playing the Gatot. One of the main differences is at least
पागल बनाउँछ यार झुक्सिनले होइन रिसै उठाउँछ नि त्यस्तो हुँदा त चल्नै दिँदैन उफारेछ तानेछ
Kelra went straight for the Holy Crystal, went straight for the Scythe, went straight for the Feather. And Harith means be happy. Like
अबदेखि तिमीलाई झुक्सिन हराउनु पर्ला यार टाइममा
once more worth it. There was a time in the past month where Harith was totally useless.
खतरा भने
Said, we gotta look, no real goal difference between the goal.
म ट्याङ्क जाँदाखेरि तिमीलाई मेच दिनुपर्छ जस्तो अब चाहिँ
Still farming out
म ट्याङ्क जानु त्यो मेच जाँदा त्यसरी मिलाउनु पर्छ केटाहरूले गोल्ड हानिहाल्छ त्यति बेला
Kyrie's the one with 2 items,
मजा
and King Kong is the one with 3. The thing about it is,
आजकल ब्यान्ड पनि हान्न छोडिरहेको छ झुक्सिन मान्छेहरूले होइन तिनीहरूलाई फेरि रिग्रेट गराउनु पर्छ झुक्सिन किन ब्यान्ड गरेन भनेर
you gotta respect King Kong here because it's deceptively strong.
Yeah, very high macro utility, very good damage burst if you have good positioning. Picks up the
बिल चोर्ने ठिक ठिक
more here, able to shred right through even Luthi or
एमलेम त त्यसले लास्टमा त फाइटरको हालेको छ यार झुक्सिनले
halberd, so he can even pierce through Kelra's shields.
हेर न एमलेममा पनि फेरि झुक्सिन फाइटरको हालेको छ
Between a fight that ends
बिलहरू त
for
देखाइ नै
Onyx
रहेको छ
ID
अहिले
or a fight that just ends, period.
I gotta tell you, Leo, if I'm Onyx ID, this is so difficult because at this point I don't know who to target because everyone's so slippery. Kenra slippery, Super Prince slippery, King Kong slippery. It's not that you don't want to catch.
हुँदैछ
The question is how.
Oh, fight breaks out.
पर्यो कहाँ हेर्ने हेर्ने कि यहाँ पनि
King Kong gets shut down by
ल्यान्सले
Kyrie.
एकदम खायो डबल किल है काइरीको डबल किल झुक्सिनले खाइदियो
Put him up again. That seems to be the key here. Kelra dancing to the top.
किलराले एक्लैले हान्यो ट्रिपल किल
Not stand long enough.
इन्डोनेसियाको एकजना गएको छैन है 5 जना छ ट्रिपल किल
The only ones left.
मिनियाक कहाँ फिबियसलाई त नछुम भनेर भाग्दै यार काइरी फिबियससँग त के चलेर बस्ने
Works out for
Tick,
Onyx
tick.
ID as they claim a lord.
I was
Hey,
wondering
GG भइरहेछ,
who are they
nice
gonna
भइरहेछ।
target. They were decisive. Go for King Kong first, followed by Super Prince. And then when Kera's all alone, you deal with him then. Split up the team fight and be
लड खायो है
decisive.
यताबाट पनि एउटा लड खायो
He went for the first engage and it worked out well. So good.
अब यतिखेर यताबाट पनि पुस गर्छ होला यार यता झन् ग्रान्जर र किमी छ
Split them up. But now, yeah, looking back at this replay, oh, it
ती हाइपरहरूले चाहिँ झुक्सिनलाई फर्स्टमा खानै पर्छ कि होइन यसरी नै
and then all of a sudden everyone else goes straight for King Kong.
झुक्सिनलाई खाइहालेन भने त दुःख
I might
दिन्छ
also look at
मा
it this way. Don't pay attention to blue score or Kirk. That's what Onyx PH wants you to do. And they said,
ल
just
त
keep
ल
going
लड
too
हो
soon,
त्यो
way too chunky. It's
14 मिनट भइसक्यो सिल्ड गायब छ सबैको ल
King Kong down goes the monster.
किङ कङलाई डाउन हान्दियो है
He is slain.
के हो
So is
छैन
Blue
छैन
Skull. The Zaman Force left there. Can't even get to use it. The Lord for Onyx ID still standing as a
ग्रान्जर र किमीले पुटुटुटु हान्यो भने त टावर चाहिँ एकैछिन जान्छ नि ऊ ल यही गर्न लिएको होइन ल सिधा 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 न ए ल ल सिधा आयो म ल सिधा आयो जिजी
Match point against Onyx Philippines.
It's as if
यसमा किमी र ग्रान्जरको कम्पनी डेन्जर हुने किमी र ग्रान्जर त के भने अब मार्क्सम्यान जो होइन होइन मिडमा किमी आयो भने पनि पुस हान्नलाई त
all the way.
बेबी खर्क गरेर
The
रहेछ
Superfam were just gathering their breath. They were still recovering from that split. And then suddenly the end.
I gotta say, this shows how much Onyx
देखायो खेल देखायो
understands how Onyx
अब इन्डोनेसियाले एक गेम जित्यो भने जित्यो
they understand how to make sure they don't have
Philippines
what they
जित्यो नि
want.
अझै
I
दुई
like
गेम
the smoke and mirrors coming in from Onyx Indonesia, showing 2 hands. Look at my left, while my right is doing something else. This is an amazing showcase by Onyx Indonesia on how the Brawl server Indonesia really understands how to work the team fight.
But now, with match point, we're going to be throwing it over back to the panel. Looks like Onic ID, they're up a game against
छिटो
Onic
सिधा आयो भने भनेको यार अझै त्यहाँ टिएलपिसको बाँकी छ यार पब्जीको नि गर्नु बाँकी छ यार अझ
incredibly intriguing and close one, where it was actually
कुन
Kibori
मात्र
who
गर्ने हो
found the right targets on the side of Onic PH with an unbreakable taunt that led to Onic ID getting the Lord and eventually getting the win.
Yeah, and a triple for Kyrie in that one. But, this is just a showcase of how impactful all the roles in the flow of a game can be here.
I actually want to add that there are so many mistakes, like from both teams. Not mistakes, like outplays. Okay, let's call it like this. So, from the first time when Onic Page, they just bounced back, and with the Mount Shocker, they made like King Kong initiation that was super amazing. And from that part, they started to dominate. Right then, like several minutes later, Onic Indonesia, like Keyboy, just drop it down, and everybody is bursted.
Yeah. It's really good to see that we got to see, yes, with two explosive teams like this, the risk of mistakes can be high, but the return on investment with outplays, with great performances, is even more magnified. And I like how we got to see a back and forth of that.
I was kind of expecting Destroyer still to comment about the R-Lot.
It's too obvious.
Even when you throw it in the hands of Brusco, it still, unfortunately doesn't get the win there for them. But yeah, it was just a really good punish. And this is honestly what we've seen a lot for MSC 2025 is just these situations where it's like one team is, already charging into the base. They got the Lord with them. They still have the Holy Shields. But then it's that one team fight, or maybe a couple of those team fights that can really turn the tables. And then before you know it, the game is over. You know what I mean? So it's like, it was one of those cases here too, where both teams had their own, power spike and everything else working for them. It should have been this case or that case, but again, one major play in the mid lane changed the course of that.
Yeah, and it's funny because if you could see it from the other side of the story, the side of Onic Philippines, if they won that game, it would have been the same thing, where it was just that one play around the major objective, the mountain shocker figure of them being able to set up themselves for victory. So I'm glad now that after, again, two very one-sided games, we get a game 3 that's back and forth that shows some of the best reasons why Onic ID and Onic PH are at the top of their game. We will be back in just a bit for game number 4, where Onic ID are in the lead 2-1.
one in favor of Onyx Indonesia, the champions of Indonesia, while Onyx Philippines, the reigning world champions of our esport, but second place in MPL Philippines in the tournament leading up to MSC. Now it's up to them to figure out how they're gonna crack the code that Onyx ID have found. First step, maybe, just maybe, take the Lancelot away from Kyrie.
I agree with that. I'm gonna say take the Lancelot, don't pick up the Arlot, and give yourself
Yeah, I agree with this.
nice bursty mage. I think will set them up to get to a game 5.
Also, I would prefer to see from them the most stable roamers. I mean, like, you make a bet on the OE composition, but I don't like it. Make it more clear for you. Just catch your opponents. Like, Onyx Indonesia showed us. Go Calais, go Cho, make it real. Okay, even one person, you remove it from the fight, and Destroyer map starts here.
Exactly, destroy map. You take one out, you're up one. That means your chances of you winning the fight are really good. By the way, shout out to all of our re-streamers across the world. Now being led by Satya Wanade. Big viewers, peaked at 217,000 plus and more, with almost 2 million hours watched on his stream. Those of Zegas Gaming, Scholar, and R7 Tatsumaki on the board. So a lot of Indonesian names that I'm very familiar with. So congratulations to all our re-streamers, and shout out to everyone like spreading the good word. That is MSC here in the Esports World Cup. And see Coach Yeb and Coach Why Not actually just like, I wonder what they're talking about. I really wish we could.
The players are laughing too, so
Yeah.
you know, like.
There's a fun conversation between the two head coaches, I guess. But going back to the draft, I really like the main points that we focused on. For Destroyer, it was a stable roam pick. For Naisu, yes, take out the Lancelot, get burst. Was there other condition? I don't get the Arlot.
Yeah.
So I think across the board, those are the main. That's where we can anchor the drafts into, like those main ideas. Maybe for Kiboy and Sans, the main trade now will be heroes like the Cho, Kalea, the pick-off heroes that we know them to be really good at.
Maybe at this point too, they were the coaches were like, "Come on, give me blue, give me red side."
Yeah.
Stop laughing. Is this the 4th game in a row now? Onyx Philippines on the blue,
Yes.
right? So
I said you from the beginning, just rewind the time and remember that.
Yep. You know, so I don't know, man. I guess based off the first pick that we're eventually going to see from Onyx Philippines will tell us if they change it or not. Because even then, like YSS still being open, it's like, do they still opt for that? Do they still go utility, or do they just potentially put an assassin in the hands of King Kong?
Yeah, I feel like for 2 games now, Onyx ID has gladly told Onyx PH, get the YSS. It's fine for us. So maybe that's something that Onyx PH will think about. That okay, if they're so okay with us getting Lee Shin, what then do we go to? Do we go back to the Baksha in the jungle, or maybe even as a potential flex pick, first pick?
I like your suggestion about what
के हुँदैछ
they
झुक्सिन घटोकस ब्यान्ड हान्यो है यताबाट
question mark
उनी फिलिपिन्सले झुक्सिन र घटोकस ब्यान्ड हान्दै यार अब
for themselves.
तर झुक्सिन त उनीहरूकै थियो खास अघि त फिलिपिन्सले नै लिएको थियो झुक्सिन
Yeah, I think that's
यसपालि
now
उता
the
फर्स्ट
choice of
पिक
Onyx to
कसको
decide
फर्स्ट
that.
पिक हुन्छ
Them banning out Gacha, it's Onyx PH telling
कल्ला
Onyx
पनि
ID,
हान्दैछ अघिदेखि त्यो
choice.
कि भइले कल्ला खेलिरहेको थियो
Or you're going to give us the Lancelot. With the CC taken out, now Onyx PH has the choice. You see, Coach Yep is making a face like, I see what you're trying to do. So you know what? I'll take away a really good CC option that could have been a first pick for Onyx PH.
Yeah, so this leaves a whole lot. Basically what we're saying here is a whole lot is left open for really good priority because, and this is a big one for Onyx Philippines, you'll see it, they're still going to go for the YSS. And a part of it, again, from last game is, it's the YSS still is a valuable hero pick, and that's why we see teams pick it up early on, but complementing it is the other thing, you know, being able to complement it, and that could have also just been the fact why they went with those first 3 bans. It plays well into the game plan that Onyx Philippines probably wants to take. Now for Onyx Indonesia, it's wide open as well. They could take the Phobius if they want to. They take the Lancelot, which is expected. It's been open,
फेरि सँगसँगै लिएछ है
and he hasn't had any problems with it. So, and then on top of that, that is the Baksha though. Wow.
Or the know, the jungler and the roamer, so no flex picks. Okay, potentially Baxter can go explain, but
Yeah.
most likely no.
Yeah, it's very rare
Yeah.
now.
Kyrieले
It's
फेरि
still
ल्यान्छ
I
लिने
know
हो
even as far as up until like getting like in group stage, it was still an option of the EXP lane during scrims. But yeah, usually it is in the roam jungle. So Onyx, let's settle on that idea.
Unless they pick Akai.
I love the cat, but I have
Yeah,
a feeling these two
I
teams
mean, like-
don't like it.
Go Akai, roam. Go Bucks, explain. And Lancelot, go jungle.
Now, I'm on the boat if there's going to be a guy somewhere. Put it in the EXP lane.
Yeah.
I've always been that guy screaming about
Honorले स्पोन्सर हाने
getting
जस्तो
more
है
guys, but now, yeah, I don't think we're going to see a guy between these two teams.
Honor
So
phone,
Onyx picks up the Farsa. So strong burst, strong rotation, very good map presence for your mid and jungle. Things just slow down a bit with Badang, but I feel like this Badang, it's sort of like a throwaway because Onyx can still go Cho in their role.
Yeah, I think it's so like they're both kind of playing around the fact that they could flex if they wanted to, but the Badang is the most likely
Badang
flex
र Farsa.
possibility here. But it also Badang so far has just been so good at disrupting a lot of rhythm and flow from a lot of teams, and that's why it's picked up. But you can see this early on too. In the first phase, Sans wants to play the Kadena, man. It's been banned out, and now he
Kazuta है,
gets a chance
Kazuta.
to go against this Farsa pick for Super
म
Bowl.
काजुताको
Kind of interested.
बिल चोर्नु
and
पर्ला जस्तो अब
at the same time. From one perspective, okay, you can petrify, you can engage, you can burst someone, but I don't see crowd control. I mean, most likely, one Philippines gonna ban Cho from what I see. Ah, wait, they don't need because yeah, we
No,
got.
Onyx PH needs the Cho. Yeah, they would want
Yeah,
that.
they need, but I thought about the Cho going Rome just to catch the opponents and to make a combination with the Katita, but most likely Bucks is going Rome. That's
Yeah.
the reason. So they need to remove the XP laners and also Ruby Bomb. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think Onyx do not want to close off the idea again that you can get Kelra to pick up the Ruby in the goal.
जिस्काएर
But look at them, they know each other too well. They're already just showing to each other, signaling to each other. I don't know what you're thinking. We're not gonna block it. So I think a Claude might actually be okay here for Savero.
Yeah, this is also, it makes me wonder, again, the difference for the placements here, like we saw coming in this, is $100,000, right?
Yeah.
So the coaches could be facing off against that too, because again, that's what's going to separate the placements here for both the teams, and it's, right now it's match point, right, for Onyx Indonesia. So for
Loppo
Onyx
Loppo
Philippines,
ban
there
हाल्दियो
are two big picks that still need to round up the lineup. The last
Indonesiaले नै
ban
Furious
is
र
going
Ruby
to be Arlot.
आदर पनि बिहान हान्छु
They
तिनीहरू
don't-
Thank you.
They don't worry about the math. They just ban it out instead.
Thank you, Onyx Philippines. I love you guys.
It's the biggest smile I've ever seen on Destroyer's face this entire trip. Someone bans out the Arlos like, oh yes, let's go. But
now it's gonna be interesting.
No, honestly, dude, I'm on the same boat. It's like, you know what? At least now we'll get it. We're forced to see some different options.
They did it.
They actually go for the flex. Okay, they put the box in the
Poor,
XP,
poor.
and the box
Sound yeah.
comes out.
You know, I thought about this, but then no, you know, they're too conservative guys. They won't do it, and they're doing it.
Yeah, I think
I
that's
like it.
one of the first few times, if not the first time, we're seeing Boxer go into the XP lane.
What if it's Cho XP?
Oh,
maybe.
I think again, part of that, the flexibility is the strength there, and you can really do either, depending on how this
ग्राइन्डर हो
goes.
क्या हो यता हो
But
त
with the Granger now picked up, you've essentially got that double marksman lineup for Onyx Philippines. What's the last choice here? All right, they go Glue. So Glue in the XP, and then
Glue भाइ साहब
What would be the best case there? Does one of the box should just win that, or would it just be a dead lane?
I guess, but
I just don't see that often. So
yeah. Might be better off for the Cho in the XP because it's a little bit.
Cho looks better.
Yeah, it's harder for the Glue to deal with in the laning phase. That Glue essentially is just like, all right, let me slowly clear my lane while the Cho gets out. I still think this is gonna be like a Claude for Savero.
रुपीले चाहिँ पोलिने
Unless
हो
you go something like Airthal if they want something mobile with
There
good
it is.
damage. But yeah, it is a Claude.
It's really hard for me to drop this even. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
Especially, okay, if you think about Destroyer math, okay, 6v5.
Loaded is, eh?
But Glue, how
Yeah.
many little clueless does he have?
We're on the same boat, bro.
I think I'm.
Somebody count them.
Yeah, I'm with the Sawyer here. It's hard to read for this one.
Yeah.
Nicey, what do you think, man?
I'm on the same boat, but I'm hoping for a game 5, so I'm going to go with Onyx Philippines.
All right, let's see if we are going to be getting that game of 5 in this best of 5 series where Onyx ID are in the lead. Or will Onyx just say no more game 5? We want to walk away with $100,000 more than our Filipino counterparts. LaFell, Leo, let's take us into this game.
I agree that this one is going to be hard to read. Heck, this is a good time to be illiterate. And now, 5v5, who cares about that? Numbers. It always expands as we're jumping in to the series where right now Onyx ID is still in match point. It's on Onyx ID's has to extend, but now Super Prince looks like he's able to survive. Just to provide that backup.
Early technical knockout for the Sky Kings here, giving a lot of space for Keyboy and Sans to bully Brusco. This will some way somehow compromise King Kong's jungling patterns, unless they are able to clear him out. Yep, there it is. So it's now Keyboy actually check in on his side. Been cheeky. The answer is no. So the Super Fam are playing this a little too close to the chest, hoping that they still find a way to be proactive.
I gotta say, playing Boxer quite often in this patch, it is a bit annoying going up against that glue because you don't have a way to really Keyboy as well as Sans doing a very good job trying to have priority here in mid, but it looks like they're not really rotating anywhere. They're just making sure that Onyx Philippines, they don't go anywhere. They just stay mid. Even King Kong, just stay mid.
Ludwig put down about a third of his health. They are fighting closer to Kirk's turret, but you're right, LaFell, it is tough for the Box to survive. Here's a quick look at the emblem set. If you want to play Boxia EXP in this current metagame, there you go, just all HP plus Concussive Blast.
Interesting, for this one, Super Prince is going for Pulio Sub together on that Purify, understanding that perhaps he's going to be the main target that Onyx ID wants to shut down, and respectively so, the Farsa is going to be a big problem in this matchup. The Blue having Krill as well, trying to make sure that he wins out that lane. So looking at the priorities coming in from Onyx Philippines, it really is to get pressure and making sure that you don't get stopped by anyone coming in from Onyx ID.
Onyx BH first to the scene here. Turtle already spawned and Brusco pulling it ever so slightly closer to their side of the map. Sans cut through. There's the shocker and the split spread.
Philippines ki Indonesia. Comment.
Finds the Mount Feather air strike.
गुल्लुले यार टकमा चढेर गिद्दी गर्दै यार त्यो लुटपिलाई बाक्स्याले पाङ्रा भनेर कस्तो घुडाएर लगेको हेर नि त्यसलाई ल अब त्यो यसले भएन त्यहाँ खतरा यार के गर्ने भन्ने यिनीहरु टटलमा चाहिँ के भइरहेछ टटलले किङ कङले खाइदिएछ टटल बाक्स्या हाने ग्लु धन्न मरेछ है
I don't think so, man, because that took forever and a half to take down one Kirk and to give over the turtle to Onyx Philippines, because we got to think about the win condition, and that's getting King Kong online as fast as possible. And in a way, they allowed that to happen.
And all the more it opened up the rest of the map for Onyx PH, because already you saw post-turtle take, Prince and Keller were able to rotate up already. So yeah, all the more, this is so worth it for the Super Fam. Onyx ID, they have to bounce back. They have to get their priorities straight, lest we go to game 5.
There's something to keep in mind for Kurt. Make sure you manage your longs very well, because once the Lancelot has the War Axe, he's going to have an easy time to get maximum stacks on that War Axe, so maximum damage with creatures. He just has to be careful not to hurt his own team with those longs.
For those of you wondering, longs are the triple OG name for Glue's Gluelings. If you know, you know. Kelra here gets visited by Keyboy. So this laning against Savero is going pretty well. Again, he's up by about half an XP bar. That is a byproduct of that early rotation post-turtle take. Mid lane, though, this story, the fact that Superman hasn't died 4 minutes in and only popped his Purify once, that means it's going relatively good for the Super Fam.
I like that Savero has a
फिलिपिन्सले दिनु हुँदैन यार इन्डोनेसियाले जित्यो भने थर्ड हुन्छ
Kelra, and he just says,
ओनिक इन्डोनेसिया
you don't. Just let him do what he wants, and I'll do whatever I want.
Yep.
10 minutes, then we'll brawl out. We see who's better. Now King Kong having that Hunter Strike
will have quite a lot of damage coming for this turtle fight.
And this turtle is spawning in about 3 seconds, just in time for Savera to clear the majority of that wave. And the not fighting Kelra MO is fitting this Claude's farming pattern, because you just gotta leave the lane, double lane.
ब्लड विंग्स लियो है कादिताले म त कादिताको हेर्छु यार
Complicated that
सामान
second turtle up for grabs. Kirk setting up the front line for Onyx PH.
ला
There's the
ग्लु चढ्यो
down shocker.
त्यही पनि
Kirk
खाइदियो
don't think
ग्लुलाई
it's too much. The
किङ
fifth
कङले
turtle
खाइदियो
win by Brusco, setting up a turtle
दुईटै
take
टोटल यार
down.
पनि फिलिपिन्सले खायो है
One, Lutfi bites it, trade for
किङ कङ
Kirk.
मार्यो
Down goes
मार्न
Sans
गरे
as
दुईजना
well.
मर्यो
And now it's Keyboy's turn.
तीनजना
Double kill for the gold standard. Onyx PH walking away
ठिक
with
किल र
everything
डबल
they
किल
want.
It's so good and so bad to see a Badang perform this way, because this is the thing about Badang. It's not about being tanky. It's not about canceling out those CCs. It's just about being annoying as heck, making it so that you disrupt your opponents. Whatever plan you had, scrap it. Scrap it all, because I'm going to make sure you don't get to execute any of them.
It was just about a year ago when Badang started to rear his handsome face in this current metagame and in the higher echelons of MLBB esports, and now he's a legit mainstay. Again, the fact that you can be on the losing end of a fight and a game and still find a way to clap back via a hero engage, that's doubled down by the fact that when you're ahead, you're so ahead. Brusco, despite just having 2 assists, have helped score everything for Onyx PH, has set up this 2K gold lead that makes us all the more closer to a game 5. How's that for a battle for how's that for a quote-unquote just scrim between friendly teams? Great trade, top and bottom.
Hey, answering the question, who's the better Onyx, man? That in itself. Because even during the draft, you can see how excited the coaches are to draft against each other because they know each other so well. Now look at Onyx ID. They're going for more farm on Kyrie, making sure that he has the damage first. He has the war axe. Maybe they want a little bit more. Savero taking a lot of damage coming in from some friends.
बच्चो 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 Savero
And Lupi make sure that Savero gets out alive.
This whole don't fight Kelra can only go so far, because if you run away from that lane, you go to mid, Super Prince is there. You leave mid, you don't want to go that direction, you have Brusco and King Kong chasing you. So the map is shrinking for Onyx ID. There's only so many places you can go that the Super Fam can't get you. King Kong here gets hit by these kicks from Keyboy. Mount Shocker to confirm the positioning of all of Onyx ID. This wall set up behind the wall. Forcing Lutfi.
Okay, कादिताले कल सेट हान्नु पर्यो
It's not going to be enough. Serving up a kill to kill right. Stack on a Sky Piercer. Make that too. Keyboy falls as well. But there's like my Super Prince forcing a rough way.
गेम त लामै पार्छ जस्तो यिनीहरूले
D-Lock can't survive this one. All this while, Cheeky Kyrie.
तिनटै टोटल के हो फिलिपिन्सले खान लाग्यो जस्तो है
Yep, and now, honestly,
काइरी ऊ त्यो मिड लेन पुगिरहेछ आउँदैछ काइरी खाइदियो तिनटै टोटल अनि फिलिपिन्सको
even with the malefic roar, it doesn't matter if you're building all those armors.
रेडियन्ट आर्मर लियो ग्लुले
Lupi is already not having a good time going up against this glue. Now he's gonna have a worse time going up against this Ranger. Who knew violence could hurt this much?
And so far, violence is the answer. Onyx PH throwing damage on everything that Onyx ID throw their way. Half health on Sans and Lutfi. Just through pokes, LaFell, just through pokes.
One of the biggest problem right now is that Keyboy does not have an opportunity to get a kick onto anyone.
Nice.
The fact that Super Friends having that pull yourself together with 3
कादिताले
assists.
स्पिड वाला बुट बनाएर ब्लड विङ्स रहेछ
Even if you extend this game, oh look, going for an attempt, and it looks like he's failed.
Oh, the fist break. Didn't even get clicked yet. That was just a crack right there. So imagine how unfortunate it would have been for Keyboy just get picked off for free. Kirk, looking for a mount. Not going to happen. Onyx ID dispersing. They're doing everything they can in their power to protect mid lane tier 1.
Yeah, and Onyx Philippines is also making sure that they don't overhype themselves, they don't overheat, they make sure that they don't overextend, because they understand that in terms of firepower, they already have a lot of it. They don't have to force things out. If Onyx ID really wants to defend this, eventually one of them will go down. At that moment, that's where you can really capitalize and punish them. So I like the patience coming in from Onyx Philippines, but they go
Oh my God, Brusco! With a full combo and a flicker committed. The feathered airstrike serving up another kill for Onyx PH. Who saw that coming?
You
rewind back. I take back what I said about being patient. They just waited for an opportunity for Brusco to go in, and then Walter Uncle 0-0-5 for Brusco, 5-0-0 for Kara. Both the roamer as well as the goal leader having an amazing game for themselves.
Mad stacks on Killer Skypiercer. I'd reckon that's 4 kills in the bank.
गोल्ड त यार 5000 को लीड हानिसकेछ है
On that. And now the Lord. This is a very
ओनिक
significant
फिलिपिन्स को 5000 अगाडि छ गोल्डमा
Onic ID have to play this well. They have to play it very specifically and carefully if they want
छ
to
नै भन्दा
contest.
नि भइसक्यो
Kirk alone, Kirk and Prince alone are able to send Onic ID a certain direction.
So now the golden staff being built by Savero.
फिलिपिन्सले लड खायो भने त टावरहरु त नाङ्गै पार्छ होला
And one down, but they still have a fighting chance. Throwing that Dexter inside the bush to make sure that they have clear vision of where Super Prince is. Keyboy probably going to try to catch King Kong, but again, easier said than done.
Dear God, Lutfi down to a fifth of his health. Forced to play Sans and Baksha Unite out looking for a target.
लुत्फीले गुल्लुले समात्यो
The Keyboy kick.
काजिताले खायो
Pay off, but no, they're able to
King
push
Kongलाई
King
खाइदियो
Bruce goes down too. A deceptive positioning.
अनि काइरी
from Onic ID able to take
डबल
3
किल
down.
काइरी
And now Kelra, up next on the docket, survives. Suddenly, Onic ID able to blitz into a winning position. They claim the
काली
score.
त लाइटनिङ गयो लाइटनिङ ट्रान्सियन
How does Kyrie keep getting the Lancelot, man? This guy's a problem because Onic ID, even
Team game
without
Lance on there.
Lapu, in a way, they're able to split the team fight, but a little bit differently, where you wait for the glue to mount on the Boxia and then just
Indonesia
roll
will
on
not
out and
have,
make it into an honest 4v4. This is a different way of Onic ID splitting the fight, making sure that Kirk is a non-factor in the team fight.
And Lutfi made sure Kirk knew that it wasn't him mounting Lutfi. It was Lutfi mounting Kirk. Took him away, you're right. That's definitely one way to make that 5K gold lead matter less. And now Onic ID are on their way to reclaiming a majority of the map. Great work here by the Indonesian champions. Onic Base, they have
ल्यान्स र किङको भेट हुन लाग्यो है त्यहाँ तल
in game 3.
सक्दिन र ल्यान्स भेटको भेट्नु हान्दैछ खेल हुँदैछ
Until
फर्क्यो फर्क्यो
Onic ID is also making
लर्डले एउटा टावर खायो
by
माथिको
Onic Philippines, and this is a very interesting situation where the coach is telling Lupi, is like, you got a 1v1 Kirk, and Lupi asks, how long? And he's like, exactly. Now the Lord already getting chunked down, looks like it's going to be a non-factor, not be
ठीक
able to
त्यति भयो नि
touch that turret, so
अनि ल्यान्स त्यहाँ लेनबाट हान्दैछ
lead.
Kyrie is able to escape that one.
This track already spent by Brusco. Didn't want to commit too much. We'll go off cooldown in just a few moments. Super Prince, very dangerous positioning. Wings by Wings has the Purify on hot call here. Onic BH, again, their lead has shrunken. Again, down to just barely 1,000. This is definitely a defensive power spike by Keyboy. The Twilight armor, no longer is this going to disappear.
I really feel like Onic ID is making this goal lead look very deceptive, because you would assume that Onic Philippines has control of everything, and the way that they just take away control,
गोल्ड धेरै लिड छैन अब 2000 को मात्र लिड छ गोल्ड
played is just by making sure that they play the
अनि
second
फिलिपिन्स के अनि इन्डोनेसिया भने कमेन्ट हान्नु न
don't show themselves
कसलाई सपोर्ट गाइजहरु
it will cause some hesitation coming in from Onic ID, and maybe one of those members should be Kurt, because he should see that he is the one being isolated every single time.
Yep, no longer can they just go for the 1-2 step of Kirk go mount somebody and then Brusco walk up. You have to have Brusco and Kirk walk up and use your flickers, gentlemen. Use your flickers to try and find an initiation. So now Onic Nation, I think they understand that, because they're not just welcoming Onic ID's attempts. This is also a trap.
क्लड चलाएर आएन
Onic ID
त्यसले
now
देखाइराख
forcing a feather strike out of Super Prince. Keyboy threatening a kick. Still has his flicker on the ready. This is all good for Onic ID. The more time that Onic PH allow for them, that's more fun.
Lord,
Yeah, but now it's like an initiation coming in. He jumps in, gets caught. So far still okay, but
गयो है
sometimes
खूब
he
दान
actually
लाग्यो
goes in, deals a lot of damage. And now
ओइ
Kyrie
ल्यान्सले
kills
खाइदियो
three
एकजना
all the way in. Kelra
केलराले
still
बाक्से
retreating
खाइदियो
from the down low, but here look at
डबल
the
किल
Perez shut down. Kyrie gets
ट्रिपल
a triple.
काइरी
Super Prince having to use the better airstrike just to create some space. Look at Keyboy.
boys.
फिर
But
से
again,
क्या हो
Super Friends, this
की
now
बोले
this-
फारसालाई
It looks like he
भेटेनु
knows
भेटेनु
now.
भाग्यो
Snyder
भाग्यो
knows it.
चरा
Brings
भनेर
my
भाग्यो
legs out of there.
Not a problem. He had his purify. A moment of hesitation.
पुस हान्दैछ कादिदा
Slight episode of confusion.
मिडको एउटा
for
टावर
Onyx
खाइदिउँ भने
PH.
होला ल
That
ठिक
is
भयो
what
ठिक
led
भयो
to the
खाना
triple
भ्याउँछ है
for the Sky Kings.
लड पनि खायो
A trade for Ludwig, all the more worth it. Again, if this repeats itself, they ended up with a different approach in the equation, but ended up with the same result. Onyx ID have now gotten the lead to their side, 1,500
88
plus
भयो
award.
गोल्ड त लगाउने इन्डोनेसिया लिड गरे है 2000 गोल्ड 2000 भन्ने कि 1 भन्ने
They always try to
1000
bait
गोल्ड
out
भनौँ न
coming in from Onyx Philippines. Onyx ID is very good at fighting here, making it so that they're in position to do damage, forcing a reaction coming in from Onyx Philippines, and it'd be like, nope, just kidding. We're getting out of here.
5 किल हानिसक्यो यार काइरीले
You sure you're good? Now it's our time to shine.
Now a
अघि डबल किल फेरि ट्रिपल किल
Onyx PH's game plan, especially when they're on the back foot. They lack the re-engage. What is the re-engage in their arsenal? Their repertoire used to be miles deep. Now it seems like when Onyx ID finds that window, Onyx ID just puts Onyx PH in a position wherein they can't respond. They're stuttering. They're caught with the pants down. Like, how do you fight back? That's been the story of these previous games where Onyx ID win out of nowhere, and now they're knocking on Onyx PH's base. Lord jumps on the bot lane. Mountain Shocker already used.
बाक्स छिर्छ क्या हो छिरेन छिरेन
The bottom lane inhibitor.
Right now, we're looking at Onyx Philippines. Again, having a bit of a difficult time here.
दुईटा मात्र टावर बाँकी अब
Despite having that Farsa, honestly, Onyx ID keeps forcing it out. We even saw Suns like freely using the rough waves just to get out of a bad situation after he got what he wanted.
Here comes Onyx ID, that is. Feinting another engagement, forcing a feather airstrike.
पाँचैजनासँगै हिँडिरहेछ यार
From Onyx PH. Although it could have gotten so much worse, Onyx ID, they know that they have to play for this next Lord a minute out.
Despite Onyx ID basically having access to the base of Onyx Philippines, Kelra and Super Fritz are still top 2 in the damage charts here. So in terms of damage, in terms of fighting back, they can definitely do it. And I believe that Onyx ID, they have to use the Lord, because getting inside the base with this kind of draft against the Granger, against the Machine, against
3000 को गोल्ड लिड
not a lot of
अब
things will really work.
उनी इन्डोनेसिया 3000 गोलबाट अगाडि
Turrets. So Onyx ID, they're in a situation where they want to force K5. Honestly, they can. And if they do,
ग्रान्जरले 42 को स्ट्याक छ स्काइपियर्सहरुको
It's Onyx time, definitely, but you know for which. There's about a 20-second timer wherein Onyx PH can force something. That's why they're rotating out aggressively. And there's a decent amount of
Farsa
staff from Kelra. Oh my
भ्याएन
lord! Super Fritz spot Sans, or should I say the other way around?
फारसँग
Forcing a
अर्को त्यसै
response.
तर युज
Stacking
नगरे
sentry
रहेछ
used up. No one home. It was just Sans.
लडायो
Road brushes.
इन्डोनेसियाले यो लड खायो भने चाहिँ गाह्रै पर्छ फिलिपिन्सलाई
make sure that Super Friends do not use the Feather S-Strike.
काइरीले लडलाई त्यो गर्यो
Now spawn here. Onyx Philippines, how do they react to this? Because Onyx ID, they might go for a fake engage again.
So now the Lord is confirmed to have evolved. It has extra abilities, especially the siege. And Onyx PH have made their intentions well known. They're looking for the contest. Friends and Kelra, very close to the front line. In comes Sans, Mount Shocker. Onyx PH know where everyone is. Feather strike, pushing them out. Lord at about half health. Ludwig
फिलिपिन्स
rolling
चाहिँ हान्दैछ
around.
लडलाई काइरी कहाँ छ काइरी त्यही छ लुकिरहेछ काइरी अहिले सर्ट सुराग छोडिदिन बेर छैन
Skills being used by Onyx Philippines. Onyx ID
ओइ
is
ओइ 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 सन्जले खतरा जोन हान्दे यार फिलिपिन्सलाई उल्टे ओइ खायो खायो काइरीले खाइदियो लड
And the revitalize from Ludwig.
लुप्पी
able to
फस्यो
stay alive long enough,
किङ
but
कङले
Onyx
खाइदियो
PH
है
will punish the Lord for the EXP laner. I think Onyx ID are happy with this result.
At this point, it really is about who has the better trade, and considering the base situation of Onyx Philippines, like I said, Onyx ID, they're very happy. And again, Onyx ID are in the minds of Onyx Philippines, understanding how they think, understanding how they react, and using all of that to win this third place match.
And they even know what Onyx PH are willing to give up. And that's what allows Onyx ID to get these beneficial trades. They've been trading up. The Sky Kings have been trading up, ladies and gentlemen. They got a calculator right underneath that desk saying, all right, this is what they did. All right, we'll get away with it. Lutpi for the Lord. Let's do it. And they're still holding them by the neck. 3K gold lead. The map is red. This might be the endgame siege.
Second engage coming in from T-Boy, stopped by Kurt. No with Dragon just yet. The Lord is inside the base of Onyx Philippines for now. Looks like Onyx ID. They're spread out the map. Flicker goes in. Finds one.
ल काजिताले खाइदियो यार काजिताले केही हान्न पाएन किबोर्ड पनि गयो दुईजना गयो यार लर्ड पनि यति खाइदियो फिलिपिन्सले डह्रो होइलान्थ्यो
And again, this is what we were talking about. Onyx ID against the draft of Onyx Philippines. They can't really get inside the base. They got to use the Lord to really pull them out. Which I feel like Onyx Philippines, they understand this. That's why, sure, get the Lord. As long as we don't die, we can protect the base. We're all
अहिले
good.
क्रिस्टल दियो फर्स्टले
an evolved Lord, mind you, that had the extra skills, that had more damage to improve and enhance Onyx ID's chances at team fights. And now suddenly, look, Onyx PH have left their base, turned the map blue, and are looking for a siege of their own. Then airstrike coming in from Super Prince. Lutpi taking a good amount of these salvos, and that inhibitor falls. What a disciplined comeback. Onyx PH able to regain a majority of the macro.
Let me just say, if this goes all the way to Game 5, Onyx ID should really consider doing something about this Badang, man, because everyone gets stopped by the Badang.
Concealed
पऱ्यो
by
पऱ्यो ओए
T-Boy.
पर त के
Knocks
हो
up Kurt, finds him.
गुल्लु गुल्लु भाइ साहब
Lutpi on the Super Prince. Kelrad half health. Down goes Kyrie. Lutpi now catches a few stray
लुप्पी पनि
bullets.
गयो
But
काइरी
he's
पनि
down.
गयो
And so will
किबोय पनि
go.
गयो ल
Just Santos Savero left.
ल है
I don't know how this Canadian club
कमब्याक
can do
गर्दैछ
this.
कमब्याक
Looking
गर्दैछ
against
अर्को
5 members of
फिलिपिन्सले
Onyx.
नाइस
Now
नाइस
having the minions charge in as well, they're able to get an inhibitor. Is this the end?
लम्बाउने भयो यार यिनीहरूले गेम अब लास्ट एक गेम बाँकी यसपछि फिलिपिन्सले यसमा सिधाउला त सिधाउँछ सिधाउँछ नाइस वाइप्ड आउट वाइप्ड आउट 2-2 अब लास्ट फाइनल
Onyx against Onyx. The battle continues. This is a battle
इत्रु इत्रु
for
बच्चाहरू
third.
यार
At the same time, this is to prove who is the better Onyx. This is a back and forth match. I gotta say, for Brusco,
ब्रुसकोमा
if he's able to get that Badang again,
कट्टु
he's
तानेर
gonna
बसिरहेछ
create havoc against Onyx Indonesia. So definitely something for them to consider. Because I gotta say, good idea coming in from Onyx ID, but every single time prevented by the Badang.
Kudos to Onyx PH as well for the discipline and the foresight to know that these fights are worth it. A little extra on this, and then we go all in on this. And that was that last minute sequence where they kicked out Onyx PH and then went for the finish up top.
Yep. I gotta say, Onyx ID maybe a bit of a desperate play for the final one, but now with this match pushing us all the way to game number 5, we're gonna be throwing it back to the panel.
Just when you thought you knew how this story would end, Onyx PH pulls it right back, and we're down to just one best of one in what started as Onyx PH taking this very first salvo in the series. Onyx ID going to match point. Just like the previous game, this game came off one sudden turnaround.
It was that one sudden turnaround here in the base, right as I mentioned it. There it is, Brusco with a great flicker set up there to stop even Sands from, maybe petrifying someone, getting the rough waves off. Could have been very different because that was the start to bringing it back in their favor. And this is the trend. This is the case of a lot of our games here for MSC.
From the beginning, Onyx PH actually were leading that comeback from Onyx Indonesia, then again turnaround, and Onyx Philippines win. I'm just shocked. That was super impressive. I really like that game.
Yeah, it's a similar story for the previous two games now, and it's just fun to see. It's always great to see those back and forth. Oh, that team's gonna win. Suddenly a turnaround out of nowhere, and this ended up becoming 21 minutes long.
We've had a couple games now to reach, this point and even further, but I guess that's always the case. I know we were talking about this back even in the group stage where it's like, some of these objectives that you EWC be the focus, sometimes it's not always about that. It's fighting for those objectives that usually turn the tables, but then the base defenses, man, there's just something about these lineups, and maybe that's something we can talk about later on too, about the meta shifting like we mentioned, or is it established now? It's a lot of these lineups that allow you to also turn things around when it's a base defense, because whether that's 5,000 gold, 10,000 gold, I think is some of the biggest ones we've seen so far.
Actually, you marked a good point about the base defense, because also Leo and Lapel mentioned it, and it was impossible for Onyx Indonesia to reach out their main goal, the main building, and they just couldn't enter the enemy base.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah, it's like every time they wanted to end and enter the base, it was so risky for them to. Whereas Onyx BH had a glue and a badang to hold down the front line so that the Farsa and the Granger can just damage from afar. And as we can see, take it out from the base and put it into the rest of the map. The lineup of Onyx sometimes can be too hard for the lineup of Onyx BH to handle, because you have so many formation breakers that take away the front to back team fighting that Onyx BH wants. But you put that in the bases, whether it's in defense or even offense, it's too tough to deal with the lineup of Onyx BH.
Yeah, and a lot of those lineups that we see that do have trouble, finishing a game, that's why, you need certain things to happen. And for them, it was, to get a kickoff, to maybe utilize the Cho, because then it's even, to the sense, it's like a Baksha you're going to see coming, right? He's just shield unitied up, and he's going to jump over the wall most likely. So then it shifts over to a very specific scenario to turn that into an actual siege that can end the game, where in comparison, you have so many options to go ahead and defend it, clear the waves, hold the waves if you have to, with the front line that we saw from Onyx Philippines.
I like our conversation, because we don't know what we gonna expect for further. It's no idea. For me, this series looks like, hi bro, delivery department, I want a hamburger and one comeback. Onyx Philippines, what do you want? One comeback, please.
Either or, right? I think at this point, either Onyx Philippines or Indonesia, because now, throughout the series, we've seen that a couple times in a couple different games.
Yeah, I don't know if my heart can handle another comeback-centric fight for game number 5, but let's see. Maybe we might just actually get that here. I also feel like at some point, maybe Onyx Philippines, or maybe even as the draft ended, Coach Why Not, Coach Hayes probably reminded the players, guys, our lineup is good at defending from the base. It's even better that they were actually able to take the lead in the early to mid. Because if this was Onyx Indonesia taking the lead early, snowballing, it might have been actually tough for Onyx PH to pull it off. So kudos to, in the previous series, Onyx Indonesia sticking to their win condition. In the previous game. In this game, Onyx PH sticking to their win condition. And despite it being a battle for third, we're seeing it, just how important this battle is for them.
Yeah, again, the difference in terms of prize money for them, but also like you can see it from the shots here. I love the shots that we get of the players, because we talked about going into this matchup anyway that some of the pressure, some of the weight was off of their shoulders, because it is this third place match. And even when they're having those close-up shots, you see them having fun, smiling, prepping up. And then essentially, it has now come down to that best of one that we mentioned earlier. It comes down to one game for basically $100,000.
Several days, and nearly all the time we see full series. It means something. It's I think it's one of the best World Series. I mean, for the semifinals, for the third place, and I hope for the grand finals.
Yeah, I think you can definitely say this is one of the best, if not the best, MSC we've had in terms of match quality, match length, the hero pool, everything. It's like all of the previous years of tournaments we've had have just collided into what we have now.
This is the best for me. Like hands down.
Yeah,
I would say, like, even as a viewer before, like this MSC in general has just been like all the boxes have been ticked. A healthy meta. You don't see the same exact. Well, you see some of the heroes that still pop up, but you see a lot of variations in the draft. You see a lot of. I think we are up to like 90. I want to say like 90 unique heroes or something. I know before it was like 85, 87. We've seen a couple more pop up now. turnarounds, much more fighting-centric games as well, but also still games that we've seen be low kill games for a while, and then they're just focusing on the first 3 turtles of the game. So it's like you have a lot of shades of all the previews we've had in the past.
I really like this MSC.
Yeah.
From my heart, from the bottom of my heart, I enjoy it. I'm really enjoying all the atmosphere that's happening here in the venue, and special thanks to our viewers, guys. You are super amazing. Just because of you, also, you create this atmosphere. In chat, I understand that not everyone can appear here in Riyadh, but still, even if you're watching online, you create this atmosphere. And thanks to you.
Yeah, and in just a few moments, we are gonna be seeing the final game between 2 brothers at this point. You know, I don't have any siblings, but if I did, I would do everything I can in my power to prove to them why I'm the superior child.
Even if you're the younger one.
Yeah, even if I'm the younger one, even if I have older siblings, and I feel like that's the energy that this series brings to the table now. Like again, we've discussed like it's no longer about org pride, country pride. It's about their each individual pride to be able to stand up at the end of the game, look at across the stage, and just go, "I'm better than you." And I feel like these last 2 games were just like the evidence of that.
Yeah. Hey, man, if they do end up going to Japan, you know, if they do get that opportunity, they can go ahead and say that to each other. Whoever
Yeah.
ends up winning this towards the end of it.
You know, from my perspective, they already proved that they are the best. I mean, they went to top 4. I mean, it's 2-2.
Yeah.
And the last game, no matter who's gonna win, it's anyway. For me personally, they showed us really good performance.
If you want to see some really good stuff in game, check out Dino Planet. It's an all-star event. Roar. We got dinosaurs. Put up the Roar song in your main menu.
So good.
It's the best song we have right now in game. We swear, we promise event, excuse me. And don't forget to do all the mini games involved and to unlock the free skin, Boba Proto Hunter, plus that really cute Jawhead skin. I didn't think there could be any more cute Jawhead skins, but they came up with another one.
Yeah, there's way too many.
Yeah.
There's like way too many good ones. So if you're a Jawhead player, it's like so hard to decide.
Yeah, I want a sick Jawhead skin one time.
A what?
Jawhead, like a sick kaiju-looking Jawhead skin.
Just one that's completely off-brand for Jawhead.
Yeah, and then still just have the little girl like driving it, but it's like imagine like a Robo Godzilla or something.
You don't need to kill them. I mean, you're gonna get
It's not
Godzilla.
and if you don't have the little girl driving the machine, like that's part of the. Well, she doesn't drive the machine. Jawhead actually protects the little girl.
Yes.
Her name is Ailey Henry. I feel like at one point in my career, that's what I said every single week of my life, just to remind people, and just to remind you, we're now in the draft for game number 5. Just waiting for it to pop up. One thing for Onyx PH, I really think they should not give Lancelot anymore to Kyrie.
Yes, absolutely agree. So, basically, you know, they could ban it. Or just let something else.
Yeah.
And when I see, for example, Funny Ban, I got a question. Like a question mark, a big question mark, a huge question mark. Why?
Actually, yeah, that's a good point. Like, they made that banning struggle, but they still continue to ban it.
I guess you just call that respect. Just like this, you know, you have to give them respect right now.
Why does that? Oh, wait. Oh, only Indonesia first pick.
That's probably why.
yeah.
I told you guys the whole time that him and maybe Coach Why Not have been making faces at each other. It's because
Lancelot band हान्ने है King Kong कस्तो हिरो भयो बच्चा मलाई
Oh, dude, I'd be scared. I'd be scared of that.
I'd be terrified. All right. Your turn, Luffy. All right, never mind.
He's got nothing.
Yeah, he's cool.
आफैले ल्यान्स ब्यान हानेर चाहिँ त काहीँ यता त इन्डोनेसियाले
Again, you love to see the vibe.
यताहरू 1-1 र सोमसिन हानेछ त आफैले
Lancelot gone. I think we might be seeing a utility jungle battle. Fredrin might be the first option here for Onyx ID. Even.
Fredrin, that's all. Just
Yeah.
Oh man.
yeah, Fredrin, others.
No, imagine if we just throw it back to game 5 and it's just like Frederick Baksha.
Yeah, that might actually be the case.
Because they banned out the Lancelot, they banned out the Fanny. YSS is gone.
Hey, Busaban, let's go till the end.
They banned out the Hayabusa.
They started party journalists. Let's
Just
go.
tell each other no more assassins. Let's just go back to utility junglers.
The brutal fight for the like utility jungler.
Yeah, it's just like big meaty men slapping meat.
Yes.
like that. On the middle, like boxing ring in the middle of the map from the downtown. So, and Drusin Van and the first pick for Onyx Indonesia.
Oh, it's not the Fredrin, it's the Baksha.
Baksha. So there has to be a Fredrin over on the side of Monacopian.
I mean, they don't need to rush it.
They don't need to rush
yeah.
it. But so they grab the CC. They grab the Farce.
I like CC Farsa. CC Farsa or CC Moskov.
Oh right, Moscow.
And no, but they took the juice and yeah, they most likely will pick up the Farsa. Then Onyx can go.
Onyx Philippines, go Fredrin.
Onyx Philippines, yeah. They'll probably pick Fredrin as like their third pick.
Yeah.
They'll pick up their mid or gold laner now. Doesn't matter.
फाइनल म्याच है
So, I mean,
पब्जी सुरु हुन लागिसकेको छ यार पब्जी गर्ने कि यही गर्ने मोबाइल लेजेन्डै गर्ने
Oh yeah, that would have been terrifying to go up against if you had like a Kalea roam and then a jungle Baksha. Your jungle is not safe.
there is a composition again. So we see the CC and Kalea again.
Okay, we have a strong combo. Onyx. How are you gonna flip the script here? Because I think they've already settled this is gonna be a jungle Baksha. They pick up a Sans hero now or Severo
जोइ
hero.
चाहिँ बिहान हानेन जोइ नखेल्ने अरे किङकङ आज
Catch and Gatot and wait. Makito.
Shout out to Ranger Emmas who completely whooped me in lane as a Paquito EXP laner last night. I was playing CC and it is not a fun trade.
फिलिपिन्समा चाहिँ कालिया र सिसी लिएको छ
Just in that.
We saw it several times.
Yeah, so I know Ranger Emmas is here, so shout out to you and your Paquito.
You know, we saw it several times, and this matchup,
level,
yes, 1 versus 1, it's better to be Paquito.
Yeah.
But there is a reason. You're playing 5 versus 5. And Paquito, it's kind of hard to position yourself in the good. Oh, and Frederick, wow. I like it actually. I like it. So, position with the Paquito. Yeah, it's really hard to make your hero work as you plan.
Yeah.
You're trying to skip, but you can get it up.
Yeah.
मोबाइल लेजेन्ड लाइभ गर्ने कि पब्जी लाइभ गर्ने
Laning wise, Paquito should be very happy.
Yeah.
Bigger team fight wise, that's when Ludby really needs to find his timing.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like the window for Lupi is paramount on the Paquito, but I guess that's just in general is what we usually see from Paquitos, and you know the XP lane is going to be played a little bit differently, where he's going to be looking for those targets from Onyx Philippines, especially depending on what the gold lane options are going to be. We're going to see if Onyx Indonesia continues to narrow some of those choices down. You can see that Kimmy's taken out. So, I don't know, the Harith being up, I guess you just ban the Moscow at least one of these bans? Or?
Yeah. I think Onyx would want to actually consider banning out both. Ban out the Moskov, ban out, I'm thinking Claude. They go for the Granger. Because Onyx might have enough room in their lineup to go for Tharamis, so they can go fast, try to end this quickly, but then you need to take out a lot of the AoE.
Do you think that Cloud? I mean, the composition again to catch one person, Onyx Philippines from the right side.
Yeah.
Moscow sounds more reasonable, and also I would think about opinion of mine. They just won Matilda, and there's decision.
Alright, so for people wondering why the Matilda was banned here, Onyx Philippines is one of the teams who actually have a pocket Matilda mid laner option for them for Super Friends, which is why Onyx Indonesia decided to ban the Matilda out. Because I'm pretty sure there are people who were wondering, like, wait, there's already a Kaleo, we know the roam, we know the EXP, but that's the main reason. Geekov still making faces while Coach Lineup is facilitating the draft. Oh,
This is also pocket big.
Oh, this is so bad for the Harith and the Paquito, though. Like, even more so now, you were mentioning the Paquito will have a hard time. With the low year round, Lupi, his timing needs to be perfect every single team fight.
I feel like it's the same. Prince isn't careful here, he could get bursted down really quickly. So that might be the job. It might be like this game of who gets better positioning, who gets that window, and it could be Lupi to go for that. But yes, I guess a Farsa, you could fight around the feathered airstrike now. That's also a threat in itself. I'm gonna go for what do they put in the roam? And
Overloaded.
Angela Baksha combo.
Yes, but your early game struggles a lot. So, for example, on the Philippines, if they, if we change Kalea to Cho, the early game would be just insane for all the Philippines. But even without the Cho, it's still their triple is much better than Onyx Indonesia.
Oh man, I think Onyx PH will still end up with a pod for Keller most likely. Moskov is an option, of course. Yeah, there we go. It is the Moskov that gets locked in. And keep boy on an Angela. He was able to pull it off as an Estes yesterday, but an Angela today, we don't know. Well, how do you feel about it, Dyson? Real quick.
I like it. It covers the grounds, but you got to make it work. Okay.
I don't like Angela Romer. It's like one of the worst options for now, and I think that trio of Onyx Philippines is gonna win.
Let's see. It demands a lot of mechanical precision.
Kyrieले
to
box
make this
खेलेको छ
Angela the center of the
Angela
map,
पनि छ
alongside
है
the fire
कस्तो
side,
हुन्छ
alongside the
ल
box shot work out, but they could potentially snowball out of this. And that's Onyx PH. Just shows why their lineup is easier to pull off. The Fallen Lay will take us into Game 5.
Thank you very much.
किल्लाले मस्को लिएको छ यार डेन्जर खान्छ त्यसले
Onyx versus Onyx series. Silafel as well as Leo calling the final game to see who is the better Onyx. Is it one from Indonesia or Philippines?
What a way to wet the senses to prep for our grand finals. Then to get two of the best teams in
यसपालि
all of MLBB esports right now.
इन्डोनेसिया चाहिँ ब्लूमा बसेर
On a
रहेछ नि त
clinic of what is possible in the current metagame to take us all the way.
We've seen assassin versus assassin throughout these best of five, and now they're ending up with the utility junglers, the Fredrin as well as the Boxia. So prepare for a macro heavy game here, especially Super Prince getting that Luffy again. But Sans and Keyboy having a very good first mid. I don't know how this will turn out.
Not to mention the resistance of the Moskov in the hands of Kelra. So there's so many ways that Onyx PH can get to Onyx ID. But it's not like Onyx ID are throwing blanks. You know what I mean? They have the Angela. They also have the Farsa that can wings by wings out. Not to mention the Baksha Unite from Kyrie. So already, I assume that as soon as these teams hit level 4, then they're going to try to do stuff on the map.
I gotta say, for Onyx ID, they have a second winning condition, which is waiting for that Placid Oasis. That will be going up against Kirk. Looks like both are really heavily trading against each other. So now we're seeing the roamers coming down to rotate. Taking quite a lot of damage, but should be fine here.
Yep. These early engagements from these bruisers in EXP lane demand attention and additional effort from the other parts of the map. And again, how does this happen, Lafel, that for the first 5 minutes, first 10 minutes of every single game in this best of 5, the gold laners getting gold lane experience? That just seems to be an Onyx versus Onyx standard.
At this point, it's a gentleman's agreement. It's like, can we all agree that only four of us are going to play for the first 5-10 minutes, and then afterwards, if they feel like it, hey, they can join in. Speaking of, right now, Turtle has spawned. Onyx Philippines looks like they're in control.
Brusco overshooting quite a bit, forcing a flicker now from Super Prince. As
Turtle,
Luffy gets the
Kyrie
back,
छोड्दे
Kyrie
है
secures the first turtle. Brusco goes down, gets
किल
punished
पनि
for his
हान्दियो
bad positioning. Now the hard guard, Ludpi, he's in. That's 4 members of Onyx ID pushing forth into Onyx PH's jungle. King Kong clutch this, doesn't have a retribution. Kyrie rolling up, the SOD by Kelra. Won't be pressing the button. They let off too much pressure, too much of a risk. If things go sideways, if Onyx gets it, and that's a steal! Grab the purple in the worst possible way! Sans! Gila Sans gets it!
The moment you think it's safe, it's really not. Now Kirk having to use the bench, just trying to get out of this predicament. Looks like he's able to get out of it. Onyx ID, they basically won everything in the first 3 minutes.
Brusco, quick
Kyrie
slam here. The flicker, the tsunami slam. Not enough damage from Prince just yet. Keyboy survives. Kyrie helps with a puissance. It's all going Onyx ID's way.
Even Severo getting that gold crab, earning just a little bit more for himself. Now that Severo has level 4, might be a little bit more aggressive going up against this Moskov. Looks like the Louis.
All right. Here comes the
Angela
diversion
Sumati,
as well. The rest of Onyx PH come through. Ludwig is taken down. That's the first on the board for the Super Fam.
Yep, but still, I think in
terms of punish, that was actually a very good punish because the minion waves were coming through. So there's a lot of EXP that Luke is going to be missing out on, and he won't feel the pressure now, but he will definitely feel in the second turtle, to the point where I have to think even Luke is thinking whether he should join the fight or just push the lane. Try to play the side lanes going up against Onyx Philippines, especially with this Louis on the map.
And now suddenly, the gentleman's agreement between Kelra and Savero have to be disrupted. The turtle will be spawning on that half of the map. Brusco first to the scene, unless Kyrie has something to say about it. Kyrie and Savero first to the pool. Sans holding that fence brush. Now the diversion. Turtle at about 10th of its health.
खायो
Sans helping
टोटल
burst
दुईटा
it
टोटल
down.
खायो
Onyx
उनीको
couldn't even
इन्डोनेसियाले
react.
From Onyx ID, so that it's not a dance, just a straight up take. Now Onyx ID with
सीसी वारेक्स लियो सीसीले
But again, I feel like for
यता
both teams,
ह्यारिसले स्टारलाइट हेर्नुहोस् स्टारलाइट के भन्छ त्यो
because both composition doesn't really have a big snowball. We were back at a goal.
Kyrie chops Kirk, forcing that vengeance.
कर्कलाई कस्तो घेरेको यार मोस्को भाइ है त्यहाँ दादा पारामा
Kelra throwing out that SOD in case his XP later needs a little bit of help. Onyx ID, huge rotation. Not leading to much. I mean, they chunked a bit of that energy shield down bottom, but that's a good save for Onyx PH.
This is what a
अनि
Farsec can really afford.
हान्दैछ है मोस्कोले टावर खाइदियो
And now Kara getting that turret. So honestly, a very good trade coming in for both teams. The goalie doesn't really change much. And now the diversion just to give more farm.
खतरा दिमाग लाउने
Just make it so that he gets all the minions.
That's right. Double laning on a Moskov with very low the help of the diversion. Kyrie and Savero holding this brush. I think Kelra's aware.
And at this point, people are having the entire team of Onyx Indonesia because it makes it so that the next turtle, if they choose to go for a fight, they don't really have any anti-heal.
Yep, not a single Onyx. But Onyx ID will go ahead and shrink the real estate Onyx Page is allowed to play in. There's a lot of pressure coming from Onyx. They're now building to a 3K gold lead up to this last turtle.
Saving grace here is both Kirk as well as having a good time, still able to farm up. No deaths yet for both Kara as well as Kirk. Super Prince as well, not involved so much, but again, not punished. So this is a situation where Onyx Philippines, they're losing, but honestly not by much. This is still a comebackable game from Onyx Philippines.
Yep, this is a controlled amount of losses that
Lag
Onyx Page
talaga.
are giving. Call it a margin of error that they're working with in the early game. 100% turtle take rate for the Sky Kings. Yet Onyx Page, they don't look so sweated. They don't look so troubled. And now in comes Brusco, looking for one to hit with a tsunami slam. Davenport forced out of Savero, couldn't call. He's not able to dash on through forward. Brusco flickers back. King Kong holding the line. Ooh, that is an appraiser's wrath, forcing a hard guard on Savero. In comes one from the side. That's Lutfi looking for damage. Instead, Kirk gets taken down. Brusco follows suit. The super fam are crumbling. They put in so much effort, and all they got out of that was the top lane. They traded 2 bodies for the top lane tier 2.
They tried to punish the Boxia's worst nightmare, which is checking the bush in mid. So many moments there, but hold on, Kelra getting targeted by Luke.
Oh!
Gets the kill onto Kelra.
KO.
That was an amazing move coming in from Lupi. But yeah, Onyx Philippines, they tried to use that bush to their advantage to get them. But again, this is one of the strengths of having an Angela. The moment you feel like you're out of the match, she brings you back in. And all this while, again, this is a very scrappy team fight. But the fact that Onyx ID, they have heal. Onyx Philippines, they have heal as well. It became very extended and eventually giving enough time for Lupi to get that flank angle onto Kelra.
Onyx VH may have overestimated their margin of error. Now Kirk is in trouble. No one can save him here. Lupi gets another kill. In comes the rest of Onyx VH, but it might be too little, too late. This Angela Baksha is capable of so much more than just brute forcing its way into team fights. Again, concrete example is that last engage in mid. They feigned the Kumar bush and said, no,
Oh yeah.
it's not us who's in trouble, it's you.
This is what my mom always says.
behind every successful fight, there's an Angela behind her. And sometimes she takes the
I need the stats on how good Angela is in MSC. It's interesting that she did not get banned here. Now the dance begins. Onyx ID definitely the favored one. Onyx PH, I don't know what they're thinking, trying to contest. King Kong taking this long brush down bottom. Fender trying to go ready. Lord at a 10 himself, the 16, the 20th. King Kong with a steal. He's happy with what he got. He's just gonna waste Onyx ID's time crossing the long way, forcing a response. Onyx ID will definitely punish him here. But at the cost of a Lord from out of their nose, I'd say it's worth it.
It was 100% worth it. This feels like an AOT moment where they just ask King Kong's like, go and die, but get that Lord from us. It's a bit of a mistake coming in from Kyrie, using the retribution ability. You saw this general linger there for a very long time, allowing King Kong to get that. But hey, those are the kind of mistakes that depreciates $100,000 US.
If I'm not mistaken, Kyrie just used, King Kong just used the first skill, didn't even retribution. He was waiting for the threshold and instead made that nanosecond call to go, I will not retribution, I will just use the first skill. And he got away with it. And I guess that does help the map equalize. It did enhance this initial wave that we're coming out from Onyx. So yeah, this allows for the Super Fam to be a little more proactive. Feigning a diversion there keeps the gold beat at a manageable 4K. Here we are.
Oh, they're bringing him in! Straight into the inhibitor!
That's dirty! Very well orchestrated, a freak of MLBB nature. You see the smile on Kirk's face. Can't believe they fell for that one. Kyrie, forced to take a dirt nap from what could only be called an RG experiment done on the grandest stage of them all.
Can I just say, this, we can now make a
Give
compilation
a
of every
good quality.
international of where the Boxia just goes inside a bush and then just escalates to become worse and worse and worse and worse. I don't think we'll see anything more. Knowing the MLBB community, they'll figure something out.
You know what? After what happened,
Oh, look at this.
to Kyrie's box in M5, this is just but a flesh wound. It's hilarious, I'll tell you that.
It's hilarious, yeah.
No one saw it coming up until it happened, but now we know it's possible. Now you know you can do it.
Hey, that's a TikTok reel.
Waiting to happen. How many remixes?
I think that will stay all the way to M10. But either way, right now, Onyx Philippines, it's like, yes, they only got 2 kills, but I feel like they won. Right? I feel like in this situation, Onyx ID, they're in full control. Well, Onyx PH, they kind of won. Now, looking at items as well, having the Guardian Helmet for King Kong, making it easier for him to move around the Lord, which is spawning around their side of the map. Kelra at this point is just waiting for that Malefic gun, and at that point, you gotta wait for Kelra to make play. He's farming up, trying to get that level 15, making sure that he hits every single power spike available. But something to keep in mind as well, Savero is on the way for, forget the item's name, but more Spellvamp, man. And now, the Malefic
Concentrated
gun
energy.
thank you very much.
Yeah. This is just a fight waiting to happen. Not even breaking out into full-on dance. Kyrie force here's the point slice already. Kelra pushing down bottom. Zaman force here on Savannah plus a hard guard from Keyboy. And they crash on to Kelra. Tsunami slam away. King Kong
ले छोड़ दे यार.
No one hit by the SOD, so Kelra's gonna have to take the walk of
Yo,
shame, but it's alright.
Philippines जित्छ जस्तो
No
है.
shame in doing your job. He pushed all the way into that
Last
inhibitor
game
down
हो यो.
bottom. Onyx PH suddenly have the map on their side despite the 4K goal disadvantage.
Onyx PH got the cake and eat it too. They got the inhibitor. They got the Lord. They got the psychological damage onto Onyx Indonesia.
The Super Fam walked into Onyx ID's room and said, Mom said I can have your bed. and laid in it for a month. Onyx ID is now wondering where it all went wrong because they had everything under control. They even sent Sans home to defend, but they still lost that turret. And now they're looking at a simultaneous wave push. All three coming in. A Lord down bottom. They're going to lose everything here.
Game 5 is solid proof of why brothers always fight. And now, Onyx Philippines, if you look at the score, you would think they're behind, but look at this. They're almost inside the base of Onyx Indonesia. Rusko just fainting, not going in just yet. The Lord is going to be handled by Sabero.
Oh, there's a conceal. Lutfi thrown out a few punches. Champion stance already used. The knockout punch not going to keep him alive, but the hard guard will. But for how long? He's down. Super Prince takes him. So does the inhibitor. It goes down. The next stop, the base, maybe the top lane inhibitor. Kyrie eating a lot of damage from Onyx PH. It's a bear base for the Sky Kings. They have to defend.
And then now, one minion, they're
Subway
able to
turret
deal with
idea.
that. But now, the other minion wave is coming in. It's coming down mid.
4v5, feathered airstrike plus a Zaman force. The
And
isolation
this is
force
Farsal
used
Khaika.
to purify. Sabero is down. Kyrie and Sans. Keyboy 2 left to defend. Kyrie eating a lot.
Keyboy
Hard keeping him alive, but
for
it's
Sidhu
over.
Onyx Philippines le jite third place.
Prove to be the supreme Onyx. They are the third placers of
Third
MSC.
place Onyx Philippines.
And now the Onyx conversation has ended. As of today, Onyx Philippines rise on top. And with that, Onyx Indonesia will have to settle for 4th place.
TLPS को म्याच हेर्ने कि अब
Very high.
PUBG को हेर्ने.
The internet could have sworn that this was their time to take home another title, but they fell, and they're facing their brothers. They fell again.
Being in each other's heads, we saw Onyx Philippines being at a disadvantage, but that one cheesy play got back that momentum. And I have to go back to what Carl TC said. For you to be the best, you have to have fun with what you're doing. And I kind of feel like that play gave them that fun for them to find a way to come back.
And it's 2 birds with 1 stone. LaFell Onyx PH found a way to have fun and show us something we've never seen with a hero like this, a combo like this. Plus, possibly, I don't know if you'll agree with me, they got into Onyx ID's heads.
Oh, dude, I agree. He got into my head. Now, I don't want to be using Boxia, man. That's a lot. And the fact that King Kong, one of the kings of the jungle, getting the crucial picks on that Lord. By the way, if this is not a part of Kadia top play of the day, I don't know what's going on.
There's gotta be.
I don't care how good the grand final is, that has to be there.
This deserves to be one of the top plays. Kadia, take notes.
I would argue maybe even the top play. You know what? Forget about Savages, man.
That was all 5 of Onyx PH. This was premeditated.
This is how you show you play together as a team, and you just make it personal on that one guy. And now we are ready here. Congratulations to Onyx Philippines, and now we're throwing it over to the stage where we're going to be having an interview with King Kong.
Yes, indeed, gentlemen. King Kong joins us. Our 3rd place here at Onyx Philippines. First of all, King Kong, can we get a flex? Come on. God damn. All right. See, you got the good vibes. They were going out. Kelra immediately slid onto the stage to really celebrate. Did you take that positive energy into the 3rd place game with you?
Coach Wynat told us that no matter what, we will just enjoy the game, and even though it's battle for 3rd, we should still do our best.
Yeah, it's a very good way to see it. So that's a healthy mentality going into it, doing your best. We got to a game 5. That's fun. However, both Onyx, Philippines and Indonesia, you guys boot camped together for a couple weeks in Indonesia. What was that experience like? Did it build any sort of friendly ties between you? How was the practice like?
First of all, of course, it built friendship for Philippines and Indo. I think we had a better practice because we could talk to the Indo players personally.
That's a good way. What do you think you learned from a more gameplay standpoint by practicing with really some of the best players out there?
All I can say is we learned a lot from them, and they learned a lot from us too.
Very good. A lot to learn from players that are at this level. And now, if we're a bit serious about it, obviously third place at MSC, you're looking at even a higher position, but I want to reflect on that journey. What do you feel you've learned as a player and as a team from this journey, this past 2 weeks?
First of all, I still feel happy and I still feel proud for the whole team on the Philippines. We learned a lot, we realized a lot. I think we still need to improve much more inside the game. What's important is we enjoyed this journey and we learned a lot from it.
It was good to have you through it all. And of course, you had a huge Onyx crowd here, be it PH or Indo, that are also cheering for you. So anything you'd like to say to the Onyx fans that came all the way here to Riyadh to watch you play?
Sa Onyx fans, thank you so much sa inyo lahat. Mahal ko kayo lahat.
Thank you very much, King Kong. Congratulations again on the third place matchup. Incredible performance from Team Onyx Philippines. An extra flex to top it off. This was our third place game. We still have more to go. It's the big one after the break.
Thank you so much, Miloj and the King Kong. Man, what a series!
I thought you were going to say, what a flex.
And what a flex by Onyx for the world's longest tsunami slam that went from Riyadh back to Manila to ensure that Onyx PH completes the turnaround.
And they took Kyrie.
Yeah, they took Kyrie. Get back to the Philippines.
Actually, that was good. That was really good. By the way,
One more time.
I'm not King Kong, sorry.
पब्जी सुरु भएछ सानो के गर्छौँ हामी
Oh, wow. I never would have thought that that's how it would end. I mean, we posed the possibility of the
PUBG
life of
कि
a Onyx
MLBB
Indonesia.
गर्ने?
If it goes well, very hard to stop. It's Angela, Baksha, Harif together, which can be very frustrating to go up against if you're not ready to handle it and if your damage dealers aren't ready. But then Kyrie checks a pushes a Baksha. And you can't blame him, because that's his job. No way in hell would have anyone thought that there would be 5 members of Onyx Philippines ready to go. We're taking you back to the Philippines with us. 5-man teleport tsunami slam. That's it. That was insane.
I just can't even picture like how that actually works physics-wise. Like Kalea lifting up a Baksha and then through a portal. Like it was brilliant. I don't know if we're gonna get to see something like that again.
Actually, it's super shocking because I saw a lot of efforts when people just tried like on purpose to create this
पब्जी
capacity.
सुरु
It's not
भयो
that
के
easy
गर्ने हो
as you think. And they made it in the match for the third place, like a decisive map, and they do it. It was like, whoa, what the heck is going on?
Yeah, it's the 250,000 tsunami slam plus teleport. You couldn't have ridden it any other way. Crazy. Crazy is all I could say. And this man was even crazier this entire series, who helped launch his team to victory. Kelra is our Sony match MVP. Of course, a little bit more muted this time around the Moskov, and a little bit more muted for Onyx PH in the previous game. But Kelra still stands to be one of the main conditions for Onyx victory.
Kelra's always going to be, I feel like, that guy, especially in this lineup for Onyx Philippines. And it was very apparent throughout the entire run.
पब्जी गर्ने कि यही हेर्ने हो गाइस पब्जी गर्नु पर्ला नि है
How do we deal with Kelra? And that's just a resemblance of what we've seen from him in the past year, especially. And even when he might not be as loud in terms of the game or making these plays, the team still plays around him. And again, that's always what enables these gold laners to do that. They have these conditions, they have this environment where they can go ahead and focus on farming up, do what they need to do, but the team allows them to do that from early to mid-game, where then Kelra gets to really shine towards the late game of whoever they're playing against.
Actually, Kelra was shining like all the way around, and if we speak also about the semifinals, just like remember the situations when he carried solo versus Team Spirit.
I remember a post that Kelra made on social
That
media.
moment, that tsunami slam.
That's it. That was the moment. And he got the kill on the carry there at the end. But yeah, there was a post that he made online. It was a photo with him with the MSC trophy, and he said, "You already know my name. Let me remind you what it is." Considering that he is a former MSC champion in his own right. But what I like about that last series, it wasn't didn't feel like a Kelra show. It felt like an Onyx PH show. We got the show that we asked for.
Yep.
We didn't get the crazy picks. We got the crazy moments. That's it for the semifinals. How are you feeling? This is the end of our MSC journey. We're gonna be fans now moving forward. But gentlemen, a final word from the both of you now.
For me, MSC, like I said, has been phenomenal. EWC is always a really special event now. Now we've got to do it twice, and it's always great to see how competitive the teams have gone. I think that's one of the main things is so many other regions, so many other teams are catching up in power levels and everything else, and I think we had, again, the best MSC so far.
I would like to say thanks for all the players who performed so perfectly. Maybe not perfectly sometimes, but
PUBG हेर्ने
well
हो
enough to enjoy this atmosphere, to enjoy this performance overall. Thanks for all the viewers, and it was a great honor to be with you here today and with Leo Rafael also. Thank you, bro.
Thank you, bro.
Just
Fist bump from afar. The story of MLBB Esports is a tale that just keeps on going. But now we are about to witness
PUBG
another
गरम है
chapter
अब
added to its
यो
legacy.
इन्ड हानिदिन्छु म
The grand
अब
finals.
टिएलपिएच आइसकेको छ स्योर टिएलपिएच हो नि इजी हो इजी टिएलपिएचले जित्छ दादा हो टिएलपिएच
Will be underway in just a bit. Redemption is the name of the game for these two teams. A lineup once hailed as world champions, desperately seeking that
And
title
PUBG तिर लागौँ
yet again to be able to tell the world we are the best. And for Selangor Red Giants OG Esports to be able to tell the world yet again why they became the giants of the game last year. We're going to be going off on a break, but hopefully